This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Rich Post, John Bonas, Mike Mallet, and Chris Marquardt.
Good evening and welcome to the 31st Lap. We are coming to you from the lavish FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls. Thanks so much for joining us. We're streaming live on FingerLakes1.com. Follow the links to see the show as it happens. I'm Chris Marquardt. With me in the studio tonight is Rich Post and Canandaigua Motorsports Park winner Justin Henderson, back for his second tour as a co-host. And surprise, surprise, look who showed up at the door. I didn't think we were going to see him tonight, but John Bomas makes his return to the 31st Lap.
Yeah, I was going to say, in honor of John's return, yo. Is
yeah.
Yo, I'm back.
Once again, this is the 31st Lap. We have got a stacked show tonight. We anticipate hearing from Cory Reed tonight from the Fulton and Brewerton Speedways. We've got Luke Whitteker on deck, along with Canandaigua modified standout Vic Coffey, Sportsman campaigner Cody Bleau, and who else knows through the course of the night. We've got so much stuff going on. I guess right off the top, we need to make sure that we say happy 4th of July to everyone. Hope you enjoyed your day off yesterday.
Yeah.
Jim was in question whether we would or wouldn't be doing a show this evening, and of course here we are. Who wouldn't miss it, other than of course Mike Mallet, who is off doing other things. And if you've been following along, we want to get right to it. The live show, things are continuing to come together like you wouldn't believe. Another big announcement. I don't know if everybody's been following along. Like I said, Buzzy Rudiman has now jumped on board, and he will be one of the interviews. He won't be in person, but we'll have him on the phone. So that brings us to phone interviews. We'll include Bobby Ellison.
How long is this show going to be?
Right now, we're looking around 3 hours.
That's I was going to say, you're about 4 or 5 now.
Yeah. 3 hours, and that's just the actual interview time. That's not any of the BS that we put on in the middle.
Well, some of the interviews, Bobby Ellison and Mike McLaughlin, those are going to be on the shorter side, and then we're going to have Buzzy Rudiman after that. We've also got time set aside for John McCardle and Johnny Podolak, which is, I mean, that's cool unto itself. Other names that are starting to show up on the list, the guest list, if you will. Chuck Siprich is going to make the trip out. Probably Stu Shepard, Dave Rouser. I hate to forget anybody. Ron Narducci, we talked to him. Raleigh Velt. Mike Stelter is going to come over, and Mike Stelter's got a connection to Chuck Siprich, so it's kind of cool that those two are going to kind of be reunited. Justin Henderson doesn't have any choice but to come because he just keeps winning every time he comes here. So Tom Fletcher. Milt Johnson is talking about making the trip out, and I believe
I hope Milt comes.
The Jarzombek replica car is going to be making the trip out thanks to Dirt Motorsports Northeast Hall of Fame, so that's pretty cool too.
Sweet. Nice.
July 12th, next Thursday.
That is going to be a busy show.
Well, we don't know how many interviews we're going to get to. We know we got to get to those 5. Those were the ones we promised out of the blocks.
Right.
Beyond that, who knows what's going to happen? There should be a lot of cars showing up. We've pretty much got the okay from the village to go ahead with that. So
let's get crazy.
So let's see what happens.
What the hell?
You don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be a good time.
And Amy's has got a long history of having some good long party nights that lasted till breakfast and beyond.
Yeah, she knows everybody apparently.
She does.
She knows how to throw a party too. So this should be a real good time.
Hey, it's good for the local economy.
It's going to be next Thursday.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping everybody can make the trip out. Mike took a look at his schedule and realized that he is double booked.
Yep. So I saw that this afternoon. I'm like, I bet he hasn't even figured out that he has a race at Utica Rome next Thursday.
Nope. And we'll see what happens with that. I guess at this point we're just going to pray for rain and see what happens.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure the people at Utica Rome aren't very happy about that.
No, they're not.
No.
But we don't want to get.
Tiff,
we don't
you're not listening now.
Yeah, we don't want to put Mike in a position where he's going to get in any kind of trouble. So, it is what it is. We'll do the best we can with it. And,
Man's got a job to do.
Speaking of trouble, aren't you supposed to be at a soccer game?
That's what I thought.
No, lucked out with a holiday.
Ooh.
I didn't realize it till Tuesday.
I tried to explain that to you on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I wasn't listening, and I probably wasn't listening to my wife when she told me what the schedule was in the first place. So, I got the luck of the draw this week. Already planned on being there next week for the live show from Amy's because I would not miss that for anything. Of course, I'm going to show up.
You're working at Utica.
I wouldn't be working at Utica.
Let's just hope your daughter doesn't get a goal next week.
I'm going to be so... If she scores next Thursday, I'm going to get so upset.
You know what? Let's just throw my GoPro on her and let her run around with that so you can see it.
Strap it out over her so I can watch. She'll just stand there and stare at the camera.
Hey, if she does any running, man, that's the most running anybody's done in the Post family.
No, my wife's pretty good at it.
That was...
I don't know. Something tells me he runs when he sees food.
No. I figure when I get there, I'll take what I want anyway. I'm good. Would hate to affect my sugar level, or get violent for a cupcake.
Yeah, what happened? I have to fix one camera.
You left us in charge of the microphones and walked away.
As soon as you leave, we're going to go off on something.
I walked away for 10 seconds.
Be glad it was that clean, okay?
I don't think any of that was racing related.
None of it.
Racing related. We alluded to this, and we do have such a tight show. We want to make sure that we keep up on it. Racing related, get right into it, just so that the rest of this nonsense doesn't take over. Justin, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, nice job.
You may need to push Jim Sinacropi to get a fifth mic in here, just so that you can be here every week.
Hey, we could do it, most of the time. Definitely not every week, because then our racing program is going to start to lack, and we don't want that to happen.
It doesn't need to really worry about anything at this point, do you? I mean, you came up with that win. Tell us a little bit about the weekend.
It was a real hot weekend. Track was just the way we like it, where it's real dry, slick. Not a lot of the guys are big onto that track. A lot of them don't really have their cars handling the way they should. We've been working with Randy Williamson up at Bicknell. Can't ask for more. These cars are great, both mine and my dad's. Unfortunately, the last couple of weeks we've had a couple issues cutting tires, just kind of freak thing. So we ended up with a little bit further starting spot than we've ever had, and we like to pass more cars when we win, but hey, we'll take it how it comes.
Win's a win.
You're right, absolutely.
Now, didn't you take your dad's car out in hot laps?
Yeah.
What was the deal?
I've never driven a rubber floor car, so I wanted to see what it was like. So I jumped in his car. I pull up to the line. I'm sitting there. Gibbs looks over and kind of freaks out, and he's like, It's like, it's okay, man. It's just hot laps.
Yeah, well, I saw you drive by, and I'm like, hold on. Something wasn't right. It didn't look right. So you just want to see what the rubber floor was like?
I just wanted to see what it was like. The week before, he'd had a couple of ignition issues with the rev box, and my dad's not big for getting in a suit earlier than he has to, so it was kind of one of those things that he delegated down to me, so I jumped in the car, and I didn't think it would cause as much of a controversy at the track as it did, but everybody was like, well, he's running his car. He can't be doing that. It's just hot laps.
So did you like it?
I did. I think it'd be a great big block car. So, it's one of Matt Shepard's old big block cars that's won a lot, so I'm sure they're pretty good there.
Well, you got to start pumping mom and dad and start working on that big block motor.
Something's in the works for next year.
That's good.
Like what?
Something other than the Sportsman class. We want to do something different, whether it's a sprint car or whether it's a big block.
Whether it's one or the other, are you leaning towards one or the other?
Not at the moment,
That's not true.
Well, if somebody gives me...
This afternoon, I listened to last week's show, and I think you're leaning towards a wing on a roof.
If somebody gives me a ride in either of them, I'll take it. But
I was going to say, if somebody puts a modified in front of you, you just became a modified driver.
You know what? I'm
sprint car driver.
Definitely not picky. We have great backing from our sponsors, our friends, our family, everybody that puts in time, It's not a one-person deal. It takes a lot of time. A lot of our crew guys are real big block fans, modified fans, mostly Danny Johnson fans. So, and
especially Mike.
Especially Big Mike, loves his Danny Johnson. But I grew up at Canandaigua. I grew up at all the local tracks, and everybody's always ran big blocks, and I've always wanted to try my hand at one and see if I had it or if I don't.
What was it like being in a car with Jenny on the side? That little nostalgic?
It's cool, back to the days of when, Dean Hoag's father, Dutch used to run that thing. He had the old regular Jenny car, the gold number 7. It was just cool. And,
I had to love that car.
We've been talking with Jenny. Hopefully we could get something together where we could run one of the nostalgic paint schemes, maybe at Syracuse or something.
That would be cool.
I think it'd bring it back for everybody, back to that generation. But I was a lot more happy back in the seat of my Coors Light car.
There you go.
Especially when it takes you right out to the point in a win.
Yeah, car was hooked. We set up right for the track. The track was extremely bad fast. We were cooking right along. I thought I had somebody on me the entire time I was watching the scoreboard and saw that Gray was coming right up through the pack, so I was digging every lap. It wasn't one of those ones where you get out there and just ride along. It was 25 hard laps.
Who's that, Steve Gray?
Yeah. Steve.
Is that something that the drivers have the opportunity to do a lot of? I mean, every now and again you hear a driver mention, well, I saw this name on the scoreboard or something like that. Do you watch the scoreboard and try and keep tabs on who's coming up behind you?
As you come off 4, you take a quick glance up and see what you can get from the prior lap, because as soon as you get halfway down the straightaway, they've already clicked it over to your new lap, which all it's going to show is your number. But, you try and take a quick glance up at the scoreboard, then you take a glance down at your gauges, make sure everything's functioning correctly, and then back into it you go.
Well, Rich had a bunch of questions for you, and all of a sudden he's forgotten all of them. I don't know what happened there. Now, when you put the wing car together, are you going to have the mountains so that they turn blue and stuff like that? Or
we've got Dan Pilot over at Pilot Graphic Design trying to find something that will do that. I think that would just set our scheme apart from anybody else's.
That would be cool.
Yeah, if the mountains go from white to blue, I'd say that takes the best appearing car anywhere you take it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I anything that Pilot does is one of the best appearing cars. He does great work on all our stuff, and everything always looks sharp. I kind of felt a little jilted when we were up at the Syracuse car show when we ended up not taking that one. I felt we had the best appearing car. Either that or at least one of Pilot's cars, and then they gave it to an asphalt car.
Want to mention any names?
It's all right. It was a good-looking modified, at least.
I was looking at the 31st lap decals and stuff like those, and I really think that I need to get a hold of Pilot and see if he'll do at least a partial wrap on my Avenger with the 31st lap decals and stuff like that.
Partial, full, he'll do it all.
Oh, I know. Well, there's only so much that I can do budget-wise. So.
Come on, pull some strings.
Wrapping your Avenger, huh?
Yeah, we got to pull some strings. Do we know anybody that gets a car flooded? Oh,
I don't know. Wait, hold on.
Well, we'll talk to Danny. Maybe we'll get him on one of the shows and let him talk about some of the stuff that he's done. Because if you think his vinyl work is second to none, you got to see the helmets that he does.
The helmets are amazing.
The helmets are phenomenal.
I think I've got 4 that he's done, and I hate driving with them. They're just absolutely gorgeous.
To ruin them.
Yep.
I mean, I had one when I was down south working for Petty that it's still an asphalt-only helmet. It's never seen dirt, so it doesn't have any chip marks in it. Nothing. It just sits on the mantle at the house because it's beautiful.
How many layers of paint does that have on it? How many coats?
A lot. I think there's like 25 colors or so on each of my helmets. The one he did for me last year was actually every color was done in metal flake.
Wow.
So, he handed it to me in the shade, and I'm like, oh, it's neat looking. He goes, no, take it outside. And all of a sudden the sun hits it, and I'm like, oh. And he goes, yeah, that's how we do it.
Yeah, Dan's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of sharp hot rods.
I just posted one of my helmet that he did for me for this year, and it's actually got the mountains in blue on the back of the helmet that he all free-handed. It's awesome. He does the best work, and he turns it around for people, which is the big thing, is getting it back in time to race.
Yeah, he works pretty quick over there.
At what point do you have to put in your body order for Syracuse? What's the cutoff? Can you put it in, by August 1 or whatever and still have it guaranteed for delivery, or is it just he just works however many hours he needs to work?
Depends on what you want him to call you when you walk in the shop.
Oh, yeah.
And usually, anytime my stuff shows up, it's not things we can say here. Last year when we actually put our Coors deal together and, with Molson and Twisted Tea, we dropped the body off 3 days before it went to the Eastview Car Show.
Wow.
So he did it. Gave it to us the next day. We mounted the body and then took it to the car show.
Wow.
So, needless to say, Dan has not always loved me very much.
So when you drop that off, 3 days before, what's the difference in price? I'm not asking for a specific. What's the difference in price between when you drop it off in December and need it for the Eastview Mall car show, or what have you, when the schedule is?
I don't know. Truthfully, all that goes through my parents. They're the owners of the business. I'm just the pretty face behind the wheel.
If you're the pretty face, we're in big trouble.
Oh, this business is doomed. It was a train that was off the tracks a long time ago.
Right from birth.
Pretty much. But hey, I got what I got. I can make it happen.
You got to go with what you're given to work with anyway, and you keep winning, and it won't make a difference if you're ugly or not.
No, I mean, it's another one of those Pilot designs. My race suit, everybody's like, oh, that's a great race suit. That thing looks great. And then it's you. It's like, oh.
Everything looked good until right here.
Yeah, they're like, put the helmet back on.
Perfect.
Are you going to Syracuse this year?
We want to. If it comes down to going to Syracuse and potentially, having something finalized for next year, that's going to be a big turning point, because if we can possibly get our stuff that we want for next year, whatever path we do go, whether it's big block or a sprint car, I'd rather put the next year stuff ahead of going to Syracuse, because the cost is just astronomical.
Look at you being coy about this. You won't tip your hand at all that
No.
you're going to go to a 360.
I could get up and go twist his arm over. He's not going to say nothing.
No.
Except ouch.
Nope. And you hear snap, and then you won't be driving next week, which will give him more time to work on a sprint car deal for next year.
Right, and that'll suck. So
Everybody wants me to go to a sprint car.
I don't.
I just want you to tell me I'm right or wrong. That's all.
Good, you can keep digging, but I don't think you're going to get it.
I'll latch on to something and shake it till it's dead. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Right now, we actually have. I can tell you pretty much my dad wants to go in a sprint car. That's about 99.9%.
He doesn't make that coy at all. He lets you know he wants to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think my dad would do very well in a sprint car. He's just that type of driver where
I don't think it matters what you put him in. I think he's going to do well. I mean, he did well when he moved up to 358. He did well when he came back to a different type of sportsman. I mean, I don't think you can put him in a sprint car. You could put him in a big block. I don't think it matters. He's going to figure it out. He's just smooth.
Are you guys bringing cars out next week?
We'll see.
We'll see.
My answer every week will be we'll see.
We went with we'll see next week. It worked out just fine. So
yeah,
you're getting into close to wedding time in 3 weeks.
Now you're encroaching on the fiance's department.
You call her and ask her.
Oh, I'm not.
I'll call her and ask her.
Your wedding?
My wedding.
Nice.
3 weeks from tomorrow.
God bless you, dude.
Thanks. I'm going to need it. As I know she's listening right now. I love you.
Yeah. Way to be a good ass kiss. He got this marriage thing figured out already, though.
You know what? She's a good girl. She lets me race. She loves the sport. What more can I ask for?
So she lets you race? So if she told you not to, you would not?
No, I still would race.
She just puts up with you racing.
She puts up with me racing. She has fun with it. She enjoys the whole, family part of it. So it was fun. We went to Volusia for the first time when we met. It was like a week after, and I was like, okay, this is going to really be the tell-all if she can, if she's long-term dating material. We went, and it was like 36 degrees in Florida at Volusia. I'm sitting there freezing to death, and she goes, "This stuff's cool."
Nice.
And she's like, "But I'm cold."
That's a good sign, though.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good sign.
We went to the modified sprint car show. We were standing on Matt Shepard's trailer in the infield, and she's like, "Wow, this is a really nice view." I'm like, "I don't have a trailer that's this big. I'm sorry."
You ain't gonna have that view when we get back home.
Yeah.
Are you going to do the pit stop challenge next time they have it at Canandaigua?
No, it's extra stuff on the night. We try and focus on the program and make sure that our racing's ready. We don't like doing a lot of the extracurricular activities. If anybody listened to the interview my dad did, last week before the race, we don't even do hot laps just because we try and focus and we get ready. Unless we have a mechanical issue the prior week, you usually don't see our cars roll out to the heat.
Sounds good. Rich is out there in the process of getting Luke Whitteker on the phone to talk a little bit about what he's been doing up at the Cornwall Speedway. Had a top 15 showing in the Super Dirt Car Series 100 lapper here last Sunday.
Yeah, that race, the finish was pretty much dominated with the Canadian small block guys.
Yeah.
Chris Rabb.
Yep.
Rabby.
Yeah, I always say Rabe. They always tell me I say it wrong. I don't know.
It's Rabby this week. We'll go with it.
Unfortunately, the kid ended up having a bad night after. Well, he didn't.
Yeah, I heard it was an accident.
Yeah,
with
his
their
father
or something.
Yeah, father and another family member were on their way home and got in a car accident. Thankfully, they're all okay.
Right.
But that kind of puts a damper onto his first real big win.
Right.
But hey, things happen. It's meant to be if it's meant to be.
What we'll do real quick is we'll try and rattle through some results. John's got a bunch of stuff prepared.
There is
as
a
well.
lot.
There is a lot to do. I got some stuff put together here, so I'll get through this stuff, and then you can kind of pick up afterwards. We'll go ahead and do that just in honor of Mike Mallett. Over at the Merrittville Speedway, Lance Young went flag to flag in his first win of the season, breaking a tie with Mel Lane for third all-time on the Empire Super Sprints win list. Went flag to flag over Glenn Stiers, was third. Justin Barger fourth. Sean Doneth was fourth. Chuck Heaving placed sixth. Utica Speedway, Justin Barger picked up the win with a last lap pass over Michel Perrin. 33 sprint cars were in the field. Jeff Van Dusen made his return to ESS competition after several years. They're going to be back at Untitled Speedway with the Lucas Oil late models on Wednesday, the 25th of July. Chuck Hebing gets the win by default over at the Tom Ames event at Rolling Wheels Raceway Park with the Empire Super Sprints. After apparent winner Jessica Zemkin was disqualified for coming up light on the scales. It's his second Lucas Oil ESS win of the year. And Danny Johnson picked up the Battle at the Border at Ransomville Speedway. It's a 358 Modified Super Deer Series event. That is his third win in 3 Battle of the Border events at Spencer Speedway. 100 lapper for the Snowgo Modifieds went to Kevin Timmerman. Super Stocks, it was a sweep by TC. Terry Cheatham won the feature for 15-lap feature and the preliminary heat. Super Sixes, Tim Farrell got the win. Auto Value 4-cylinder sports Scorpions, it was Kevin Bartolone. At Fulton, Billy Decker became the first repeat winner of the season, winning over Matt Fink and Larry White. At Brewerton, a frustrating season took a good turn for Dan Vaughter, who got his first win of the year over at the Brewerton Speedway. As we talked about a moment ago, Chris Raby won his first modified SDS main at Cornwall. He was followed by Kerry Terrence, Billy Dunn, Mario Clare. Canandaigua Motorsports Park, it was Danny Johnson getting the modified win over there for his first of 2 wins on the weekend. Justin Henderson and Sportsman, Russ Marsden and the Street Stocks. Vance Vanderwall back in Victory Lane in the Pure Stocks, and Daryl Nutting with the new Legend Sportsman. Single elimination one-on-one drag races was Ryan Wiedrick. George Suprick went back to Victory Lane aboard a 360 at Black Rock Speedway. He was an 04 division champion and won last in 2005. He went flag to flag in the 25-lap feature. Randy McCulloch got the Sportsman win over Carl Comfort and Donnie Lawson. Brady Foltz, Dale Welty were in the top 5. John Waters top Jared Hill in the BRP late model challenge feature. Jake Karlowski won the Street Stocks. Sean Bruce held off Rich Karlowski in the IMSA mod feature. Rich Sarpstein won the 4-cylinders. Lance Irwin won the youth feature, and Adam DeGrosso won the front-wheel drive 4-cylinder main. We talked about this last week, but we'll just give you a quick reminder. Pat McGraw picked up the Dirt Car 358 Modified Asphalt Series win at the Dunn Tire Raceway over Keith Flack and Matt DiLorenzo. James Henry was the highest finishing Dirt Car sportsman. He claimed the preferred qualifying spot for the sportsman portion of Super Dirt Week 41.
Want me to go?
Tag in.
All right. Accord Friday night. 80 Bicchetti. Surprise, surprise. Airborne was Pat McGrail. Malta, Matty D. Swept actually Friday and Saturday. Won Malta and Fonda on Saturday, too. It was his first of the year. All-Star Sprint Series for Ohio Speed Week, which is where Mike and I were gone to last week. Tuesday night, Sharon, Brandon Mattis won. Wednesday at Fremont, Dale Blaney. Thursday at Hilltop was Shane Stewart. Friday rained out. Fremont, back to Fremont again on Saturday. Dale Blaney won the finale for Ohio Sprint Week. Monday, it's not on this list, but Monday, Kyle Larson won. I got to throw that out there. That kid is unbelievable. The ARCA race, Millville, New Jersey, at that road course there, Andrew Ranger won. ARDC was in North Carolina over the weekend. Friday, Brendan Bright won. And Saturday, Nick Ween. ASCS National Tour, Little Rock, Arkansas. Friday was Tony Bruce Jr. Saturday was Jason Johnson. Then they went on to US 36 this week. The Jason Johnson won there. I believe that was like Tuesday night, if I remember correctly. Big Diamond Friday, Mimi DeSantis won. They also had an open sprint car show. Alan Cole won that show. Let's see. Brewerton, you mentioned already. Vaughter. Bridgeport was Rick Laubach. Can-Am was Andy Howard. You mentioned Canandaigua about Danny. Delaware International, H.J. Bunning won the modifieds. Ricky Elliott won the late models. Devil's Bowl Speedway, Vince Quinville won the modified show. You mentioned Lancaster. Cornwall, you mentioned. I've got a whole list here. Sorry, folks. Let's see. Grandview, of course. It was not Dwayne Howard. It was Doug Manmiller. Glenridge, Bobby Varon. Hagerstown, Gary Stuhler. Afton, Friday night, Mitch Gibbs. Lemon Valley, J.R. Hefner on Saturday. Mercer, Sprints, Mike Lutz. Small Block Mods, Lonnie Riggs. Fred Carlton won Merrittville Saturday. Mohawk, Billy Dunn. NASCAR, Brad Keselowski won the Cup race. Boring. Austin Dillon won the nationwide race. Truck race was James Boucher. It was boring, too. I'll give you that.
NASCAR.
Neiman Midgets, Stafford Motor Speedway, Jeff Horn. New Egypt, Billy Pouch Jr. NHRA, Antron Brown won Top Fuel. Funny Car, Jeff Wren. Pro Stock, Erica Enders. First woman to win a Pro Stock race. Pro Stock Bike, Andrew Hines. Orange County, Tim Heinley. Oswego, Rady Riskus. Patriot Sprints, you mentioned already, George Suprick. Pencan, we had Mike Colston. Let's see. Pennsylvania Sprint Car Speed Weeks started Saturday at Lincoln. Brian Monteith won. Sunday they went to Big Diamond. Monteith won again. Tuesday they moved on to Grandview. Greg Hodnett won there. And the modified portion was Ryan Godown. Wednesday, the Pennsylvania Sprint Speed Week moved to Hagerstown. Keith Kaufman got that victory. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway, late models, Mike Peger. 410 Sprints, Danny Holtgraver. And RLC modified race at 5 Mile on Monday night. The dirt portion was Billy Decker. Wednesday, they were at Afton last week. Mike Mahaney won that. RLC Pavement Series was at Holland on Saturday. Matt Hirschman. The Friday night portion, you mentioned Tuesday at Ransomville. Danny won. He also won Friday. Sealands Grove 360 Sprints, Jason Schultz. 358 Sprints, Blaine Heimbach. Late models, Jeff Ryan. Sharon Modifieds, Rex King. Spencer, you had already mentioned. The Hell Tour, UMP Summer Nationals. Tuesday, Jason Fager. Wednesday, Jason Fager. Thursday, Brandon Shepard. Friday, Brian Burkhofer. Saturday, Billy Moyer. Sunday was postponed because it was too hot. Imagine that. URC at Delaware International, Ed Aiken. USAC Midgets, Friday, Toledo, Ohio, was Caleb Armstrong. They were at Grundy County on Saturday, Kyle Hamilton. USAC Sierra 8 was at Paris on Saturday. Mike Spencer won that. USAC Silver Crown was also at Toledo. Jerry Coons Jr. won there. Stuart Friesen won at Utica Rome. We got, let's see, Williams Grove on Friday. Brian Monteith. Won the 410s, 358s was Eric Tomasek. Woodhull Saturday night, Donnie Lawson. World of Outlaw late models, Canandaigua, Darrell Lanigan. Let's see, Sarver, Pennsylvania. That was the firecracker race. 3-day show. Thursday night was Scott Bloomquist. Friday night was Dan Stone. That was a bit of a shock. Good for him. That was a nice win for him. The Saturday, the overall deal, the big deal was Scott Bloomquist, of course. World of Outlaw Sprints, they were at the Belleville High Banks in Kansas on Friday. Kerry Madsen won. Lakeside, Kansas on Saturday, Sammy Swindell. And then this Tuesday, they were at Husitz, Mark Dobmeyer. And as I said, that was a very long list.
That was a long list. Holy
Good
cow.
Lord in heaven, man.
Man alive. Well, we got Luke Whitteker on the line. Just want to make sure we got him. He didn't fall asleep on us, did he?
Luke, you still there, Luke?
Luke.
Yeah, I'm still here.
There you are, Luke.
We didn't put you to sleep with the results. That's good.
Pay no attention.
Luke, we just want to, first of all, congratulate you on the great run with those modifieds. Tell us a little bit about that outing.
Sorry, guys, I can barely hear you.
Get that headset turned right up there. How about that? Can you hear us now, Luke?
A bit better.
Okay, good deal. Just wanted to first say congratulations on that run over there at Cornwall and tell us a little bit about the outing with the big blocks.
Yeah, well, I actually had just gotten off the plane there earlier in the afternoon and drove from Syracuse to the track right away because I was on my way home from North Carolina doing some testing and super late model at Kenley Motorsports Park. And so when I got back, of course, it was going to be an uphill battle anyway, getting to the racetrack and having to do battle with the big block modifieds. So we just went in and had confidence. We ran well in the time trials and started up front. And after the time trials there, we started third in the heat, actually, and we took off from there. I ended up fourth. I just missed the redraw spot, so I ended up starting 15th. I made my way up through the field there in the feature quite quickly, I was about fifth or so, and after a caution, I just started going backwards, so we ended up 14th. It was a strong run at the start anyway. It's too bad we couldn't stay where we were, but that's just the way things work, I guess. It's racing.
You know, talk a little bit about that. Did you learn anything out there with that big block, and after that, did the tires basically heat cycle on you, and then the car just wouldn't go?
Well, I think the small blocks had a little bit more of an advantage because I know we were talking back and forth, like the small block guys, big block guys. They said they were having a hard time keeping the car from sliding so much, and the big block being a little heavier, the momentum just keeps it sliding. The small block guys seem to be able to gather it up a little better after. So I think we did have the advantage for the most part of the race, and like I said, it's just a racing deal. I guess, I guess I would have made the wrong move one time off the restart. I spun the tires a little bit, and I'm not sure if that's exactly what the problem was, but I know the car just wasn't up to snuff after those few laps. I think I may have set it up a little bit looser than I should have, but you never know how the track's going to end up after 100 laps. So,
how about the heat? What did that play into affect it all on the track and make the small block preferable? I mean, was that part of the game plan?
Pardon, you said the heat?
Yeah, the heat. Just temperature. It's drying tracks out all over the place. Was it dry slick and making the big blocks just blow their tires off and give the small blocks an advantage, having less horsepower to hook up?
Oh, actually, it was extremely tacky right at the start of the night, and it stayed tacky right through the feature, and even at the end of the 100 laps, there was still quite a bit of bite left in the track. Although through the center there was a slick line, but for the most part, on a regular 100 lapper, I'd say that there was still a lot of bite left in the track after the 100 laps.
What can you take from that, that outing and being against that caliber of competition and having such a stacked field both ahead of you and behind you? You look at some of the people that were chasing you down, they're no slouches either. You're finishing ahead of Stefan LaFrance, Jimmy Phelps was back there. You got Billy Dunn, Gary Tompkins, all those guys are breathing down your neck.
Yeah, I guess it's a confidence boost, I guess. But you're always looking to grab the win, no matter where you end up. No matter whether it's a big block race, small block, or whatever the heck you're racing, you want to win. So you're going to go out there with everything you got. But like I said, it was a good confidence booster, and we'll take that and what we learned and go on from it with there. So,
was it a pinch me moment when you realized you're running fifth in a 100-lap dirt car modified Super Dirt Series event? Or didn't you really have time for, have a chance to think about it at that point?
Sorry, I lost you there. I didn't hear the last things that you said.
Well, I mean, you're running fifth with that kind of field, and, it's one of the first times getting the chance to go out with a field like that. Was it kind of a pinch me moment when you realize you're running top 5 in a dirt car modified Super Dirt Series event?
Well, I've been in modifieds now. This is my 3rd year, so I followed the Dirt Series races both first years, and I did the Sportsman Dirt Series events for 2 years as well. So it's kind of worn off a little bit, I guess, on me. And they're just other guys out there. They're just other racers. They may be idols in someone else's eyes, but when you're on the track, it's just another competitor. So, but like you said, there is a lot of competition out there, and you just take whatever you can get out of it. So confidence boost is what I got there on Sunday, and we learned a little bit more about the setup of the car and how to how to help yourself out when you're on the track, making the right moves and stuff after restarts, and just dig into the front. So
where to next? What's next for you, Luke?
Well, we just got the new Bicknell prototype car in the garage here, and we're just building it up. That's where I'm sitting right now, is actually in the race shop. So once that thing is put together, we're looking to debut it there at Mohawk Speedway. So it should be quite the show, and it'll turn some heads for sure.
Justin's dying to ask some questions over there. He was talking about how he wanted to start picking your brain for when he takes his sprint car up to the North Country.
You were just looking for every angle, aren't you? No, Luke, I ran with you quite a few shows on the Sportsman Tour. What do you take from moving from the Sportsman Tour up to the Big Block Tour? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. The Sportsman, I was quite inexperienced, and I just jumped into it out of nothing. I mean, I started Sportsman when I was 13, so it took a little while to get used to it. I don't think I was up to snuff, actually, until I'd hopped into the modified for my first year, and I was actually competent in the car. So I guess when you look at it, I've been doing, quite a bit better in the modified dirt, like 358 Dirt Series, and we only run a couple of the Big Block Series shows whenever they come around to the local tracks. But yeah, I would say that it's been a big difference. I would say competition-wise, it's almost equal. I mean, there's still a lot of great drivers in the Sportsman division, and I'm not saying that I could go out and beat them just because I'm driving in modified. So a lot of great competition in all the series, and just whatever suits your fancy, that's where you race.
Waiting on you, Rich. Go.
So, you said you were coming back from North Carolina. What kind of mental game does that play with your head before you're getting off a plane, you're trying to settle in, you're probably uncomfortable. What kind of mental mindset do you have when you get off the plane and you got to jump right in a car and haul tail and get to the track in time to time trial?
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you approach it. I mean, I just stayed a little relaxed, and I took my time just leaning back in the car with the air conditioning on the way to the track. So I think I got some time to actually think it over and kind of build a game plan on my way to the racetrack. And I mean, it's hard to build a game plan when you don't really know what the track conditions are going to be like, but mentally, a mental game plan for the night, and so that's what I did, taking my time there. But it was actually a relief getting home from the 110-degree weather that we had to face the whole weekend while we were down there out on the blacktop. So
you were down at the Race 101 school, weren't you?
Yep.
What's your, I've done quite a bit of background, have quite a bit of background on the asphalt. Which way do you lean? How do you like the asphalt as compared to running on dirt? And do you find any advantages, helping yourself become a smoother, more fundamental-based driver, on pavement? Do you bring in any of these things back over to, the dirt racing?
Well, I started out doing dirt go-karts, and actually you can relate a lot to the dirt go-karts to the asphalt super late models. I did fairly well there for just jumping in the car for the first time and get out in the track. I managed to hit race speeds right away as soon as I hit the track, so that was a good sign, and we just worked throughout the day. But a lot of people ask me what I like better, the asphalt or the dirt, and there's a few differences. I'd say equally. I like them equal amounts. The dirt seems a little bit faster, and it's a little more out of control, and but on the other hand, I love the raciness of the asphalt. Everyone is so much closer. The field doesn't seem to be split up as much as on dirt, and you're constantly racing tail to tail. And if you get off the bottom line, that's usually the line that you got to get down to. So no, I like both, I'd say.
Well, who else? Who do you want to recognize on the car? I know you're putting that new Bicknell car together up there. Tell us a little bit about the folks that are on the car and who helps keep the team going out week after week.
Right. Well, we have a brand new design. The car used to be all black, and now it's orange, blue, and green, so it won't be hard to miss out in the track. But I'd like to thank Storm Realty, Cornwall, it's Toy Storage, Boat Transport, Rust Check, CJJ Harvesting, Park All Products, and that's everyone.
We sure appreciate you making time. I know it's not easy to get that car put together and race ready. Wish you the best on this weekend, and sure appreciate you coming on the 31st lap with us, Luke.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
Take care. There goes Luke Whitteker, run top 14 with the modified tour, or run top 15, finished 14th with the... He wanted to call it the Advanced Auto Parts Tour, but it's not that anymore. The Modified Super Dirt Car Series.
I still want to.
It's still the Skull Series, isn't it?
I still want to call it the Skull Series.
Skull Series.
I just want to see how that new experimental car is going to go. I know there's not a whole lot of differences in it, but, Stefan LaFrance has been an innovator for quite some time, and he's been up there working with Bicknell, so I'm sure there's something coming out.
Nice.
And if anybody hasn't seen the pictures of it, you can check it out on Dirt Track Digest. There's a thread going on it right now with Matt's car that he debuted a couple weeks ago. And it's just, to the naked eye, it's just a big snorkel hood, real flat, helps get the air over the car, but it looks pretty bad.
Most importantly, it looks good.
Oh, absolutely. All the Bicknell cars look really well, especially parked in Victory Lane.
Yeah, way to plug that.
Hey, not a problem.
You're getting as bad as Dean.
I know, right?
Yeah, but
Dean was actually pretty good here last week. He saved it all for the end, but once he cut loose,
he wasn't even wearing all the garb.
Yeah, but what are you going to do with a guy like Dean? That's what he does. He promotes what he loves.
Exactly.
So even when he's shamelessly plugging every 3.5 seconds, you got to give it to him.
I don't know how well Dino's talking right now, though. His throat might still be a little sore after the other night.
little rough out there.
How was it? ...
I don't know how much do you guys know about the whole.
Well, what we know is that Jessica Zemkin went over the scales and the car was light. You put it back on the scales a little bit different way, and this car was okay. You put it back on the scales a different way, and the car was a little bit light. And Chuck Heaving ended up getting the win, and he felt bad. He's not going to turn down a win at Rolling Wheels Raceway.
Nobody's going to turn it down.
But
if you're light, you're light. I mean, she was 2 pounds light.
Well, that's one of the things that he said, that Chuck said. There's a zero tolerance policy in place for a reason.
Yeah.
And nobody gets any favoritism. If you're light, you're light.
You let her slide once, and you got to let everybody slide all the time.
No.
It's a can of worms. Can't do it.
Say, are we going to beat this topic up now, or
no,
are we going to try to pinch this?
We need
but anyway, as the end result, when she got DQ'd, her father, who is usually pretty well known for going off the handle, he's had his share of confrontations in his racing career.
Yeah, who hasn't?
Grabbed the hold of Dino, I guess, by the throat, and he was escorted out. He was escorted right through my gate. Because we had to stop him. We couldn't go out the gate.
He owns that sucker now.
I'm the only one watching it. We had to stop him because he had 2 full beers in his hand. We couldn't let him out the gate. The policy is you can't take your beer out. We had to stop him. So he was already pissed off for being escorted out and her being light and all that. And then we had to take his beer from him, and he wasn't happy.
We do have to make sure that we give some real appreciative recognition to World Racing Group and Dirt Car for putting together the opportunity for the Tom Ames dedication to racing. They ended up
they were awesome. The whole thing was
with the auction and the
awesome.
cookout and everything. It was.
I wish I could have seen more of it. I helped in the morning and in the afternoon with the stuff outside the track, but once it was ready to get the gates open, I had to go in and work the gate. So the stuff that went on during the actual race, I missed because I was working the front gate. So I was really bummed that I missed all that. But everything went great. The family was just so thrilled.
How many cars did they get for the Thomas Ames?
I think it was
race?
20. I think it was 20 or 22.
And that's a huge step up from the last few shows of 4 and
it's
5.
good to see the full fender divisions coming out in force. And
that's one of those things where you've got your modifieds, your small blocks, your Sportsman, and that's pretty clear cut.
This was centered around full fenders.
But this being the state of the pro stock, street stock, pure stock classes as a whole is kind of up and down depending on what region you go to, and numbers around here have not been that great for probably several different reasons, and one of which being the economy. It hits the low budget classes a little bit harder, I think, than the top of the line stuff. But it's very nice to see that they're pulling a car count of about 20 for a show like that.
Yeah, Pete Stefanski gets the win. It was good to see. I think it was Rocky Warner ended up second overall.
He
was.
Where did he pick up a ride?
He picked up a ride about 3 or 4 weeks ago, actually.
Right. Well, I knew he'd picked one up, but I just wasn't sure. Who now? Why wouldn't you put the guy in the car? But,
right. If somebody's car down home. He told me whose car it was, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who he told me because I talked to him for a little bit.
Was it the guy that bought his car last year at the end of the year?
It could have been. It could have been.
Silly not
he
to
told
put
me
him
the
back
guy's
in.
name, but I to be honest with you, I didn't even recognize the name. So
it's good to see. It'd be nice if we could see 25, 30 cars in every class, but just the reality of the situation is it's not going to happen nowadays. It's real tough.
It's very expensive to do any of it, whatever level you're at.
To put a 4-cylinder car together nowadays is not cheap. I mean, there's some guys out there that are running these full-fendered cars that probably have just as much or more money in their cars than we do in our open-wheel cars. I mean, there's always been that big line of separation. Oh, you either run a fendered car or you run an open wheel car, and it's kind of gotten too much. We're all racers. We're all there to do the same thing. We all have our different loves for our different types of cars.
Right.
We need to get more through all the divisions, whether it be better purses, more rules to circumvent everybody outspending one another, whatever it may be. As much as the crate topic has been debated forever.
Oh, Jesus.
Right now, the best car counts are in the crate classes.
Yeah, they are. They are. Because you can buy the motor right from
$3,108
whatever
shipped.
the manufacturer it is. Most of them are GM. But you drop it right in and it's ready to go.
Up here, I mean, everything's GM. You go down south, there's a Ford crate.
Yeah,
there's a
Mopar.
There's a Mopar crate. There's even Toyota crates out there now.
Wow.
Yeah, and believe it or not, they've got a lot of power. We're just Dirt as an organization is just very centralized on the GM 602, which is a great thing in itself at the same time, because we only have to worry about teching one type of motor versus learning how to tech 4 and learning how to figure out how everybody's going to either try and bend the rules in 4 different engine combinations. I'm happy that they stuck with just one platform.
Right. On a side note also about the Rolling Wheels event, what a great crowd.
Was it?
Last year, they had a 2-day show for that sprint show, and they took a bath. It tanked big time, and they know it. And the other night was a very, very good crowd.
Elbow to elbow.
People came out. I mean, was it a completely full standing room only? No, but compared to last year, it was a very, very good crowd. People came out the other night, so that was good to see. I was glad for Dirt Car and Rolling Wheels that people come out to support that race, because last year they did not.
I would have loved to have gotten up and seen it, but it wasn't in the cards. We donated a panel, but it didn't quite make it there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I wonder whose fault that is.
But we did. I did reach out to Adam Ross, and they are going to plan on doing something additional, to obviously keep the tradition going.
Yes.
So we're going to make sure that we just keep, the donation there for the next one.
Sure.
We can't have this just be a one-time thing. Tom did a lot for racing, did a lot for the local community stuff.
Yes, he did. There was a lot of talk that they will probably do something, I think.
Whether it stays at Rolling Wheels, it goes to a different facility.
Right.
Doesn't matter. It's just it's good karma.
Yep. It was nice. I had a blast. Didn't sleep, but had a blast.
There's a lot of stuff upcoming. We're talking about next year already, but we're missing the weekend at hand. The King of the Wings is on deck for this weekend up at Oswego Speedway.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a ball. They're calling it the Terminal Velocity Showdown because the International Super Modified Association is going to be on hand, along with the Extreme Sprint Car Series, which has pretty much set a new track record at every track that they've gone to. So each division is going to run their own schedule of it's going to be separate of each other, but they're going to kind of be pitted against each other during time trials and see who's the fastest. So far, it's Chris Purley in an ISMA-style car that's got the fastest lap ever at Oswego Speedway. He went around the track in 15.19 seconds, right around 148.5 miles an hour. So
I believe it was last year that Newman set a track, set the fastest time in a super mod. So it's kind of a big thing. Everybody wants to go out and break records.
Yep.
Then we've got races. Pro Stock Series is going to be at Granby on they're there tomorrow night, and then the Pro Stocks are back up at Drummond on July 7th. We can't forget next Tuesday. We're not going to be on before that. So the Big Show 4 over at the Albany Saratoga Speedway. Brett Hearn's Big Show 4 on deck over there. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series driver and 4-time champion Ron Hornaday is going to sign autographs from 5 to 6 p.m. over there.
Yep.
That is a sanctioned Super Dirt Car Series event this year. And July 11th, Black Rock Speedway. And joining us on the phone, Dan Harpell, promoter of that event over at the Black Rock Speedway, the Race Champions Modified Dirt Tour. Dan, welcome to the program. I know you got some stuff that you wanted to talk about related to that event, so the floor's all yours. Tell us a little bit about what's going on at Black Rock next week.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, we're real excited. It's coming up here. It's less than a week away, and been a lot of work, spent a lot of time on it, and I think we put a real good show together, and so really looking forward to it.
Well, there's a lot of chatter about it, that's for sure, and you got a real nice date for it, too.
Yeah, it should be a good date. I've been everywhere promoting it. I mean, I've been to every ROC race, and I work at Penn Can on Friday nights as race director. I'm at 5 Mile on Saturdays, and then I take care of the track at Utica Rome on Sundays, so I'm at those 3 tracks. I've been to Woodhall. I've been to I was at Black Rock last week, actually. Been to Afton and Selinsgrove and Lincoln, and I mean, you name Woodhall. I've been pretty much everywhere, just getting the word out. And sounds like it's been very, everything's been very positive. And we just signed Honey Auto Parts as our headline sponsor about a week ago, so that came in nice, right on time. And I've got a lot of things, a lot of things going on, a lot of fan-friendly things going on.
How much of a relief is it for you as an event promoter to sign a title sponsor like Honey Auto Parts?
Oh, it's a huge relief. It's obviously, it takes a lot of work to find somebody that wants to sponsor an event these days. It's a lot more difficult than it used to be, and we did a lot of searching, and we were very fortunate to make a deal with them. And it's a huge relief. It's just nice to nice to have that support going into the event, and it takes a little bit of the pressure off.
Well, you definitely found a great, group of guys down there. Doug Doolin and Honeywell Auto, obviously with the Danny Johnson team. Doug's done a lot for, pretty much every track in the area for a long time. So you guys got a good winning combination there.
Yeah, it was, and I talked to Doug about that, and next year, everything goes well. We'll, it was kind of a last minute thing here when we finally, the two of us got together. So we, we're already talking about next year. Hopefully, we have a good show this year, and everybody wants to come back next year and do it all over. But he's been involved. He was talking to me about Canandaigua and I think Rolling Wheels and Syracuse, and plus what he does with Danny, and he's heavily involved and really want to promote their Naples location for this event. It's closer to Dundee, so we're gonna should have a lot of fun, and we're excited about it.
When we talked last, we were just starting to get the ball rolling here for the return of the ROC Tour to Black Rock. We've had a couple months now have passed, and you were just getting back into it then. Is it old hat now? Or, are you back into the full swing of it? Is there still a little bit of rust that you're trying to shake off as you put the show together?
Oh, it's like they say, it's like riding a bike. It didn't take long for everything to come back, and I just was thinking about it about a week or so ago when I was laying in bed in the middle of the night. In my head that I guess I'm all the way back now, because I don't sleep at night, and I wake up in a cold sweat, and so I guess I'm back in the full swing.
Being a little bit off of the beaten path, the dirt tour, when you have the dirt car series come, that there's a certain number of drivers. That's one of the nice things about that off the beaten path stuff. You never really know who you're going to get. Have you got any drivers at this point that have confirmed that they're definitely going to be there, or are you just kind of trying to stay out of the whole confirmed driver thing, and whatever happens, happens?
Well, yes and no. Honestly, I don't believe anybody till I see him pull through the gate, because if I had $1 for every time I've been told over the years that so-and-so is going to be here, I'll definitely be at your race, then, then, and they didn't show up, then I'd be a rich man, so.
Yep.
You just don't know. In a lot of circumstances, guys have a bad weekend before or something, they can't make it. So I try not to really get into that, but I will say, Danny Johnson, obviously, Stuart Friesen, Pat Ward, Billy Decker, those guys have been following the whole series, and Jimmy Phelps, and I think where the location of Black Rock, you're going to see, all the heavy hitters there from your area. And then a couple real pleasant surprises, which I think fans are really going to appreciate. And I know that one of these guys has never been there, and I'm almost thinking neither one of them have been. Is Jimmy Horton and Ryan Godown are going to be there. So that's something that fans in that area have probably never seen them race before, unless they've gone down to New Jersey.
How cool is that those guys are making the trip up? That's neat.
Yeah, so far Ryan's been to every show.
Yeah, that's
he's done very well too.
It makes sense, but just like Dan was saying, you never really know for sure until they pull through the gate. But
exactly.
When you look at the season as a whole, it makes sense that he's going to be there. It's still kind of exciting to think that Ryan Godown and Jimmy Horton are going to be at Black Rock.
Yeah, when we had Ryan on the show earlier in the year, he told us then that he was going to run the schedule tentatively, depending on how he does. If he's doing well, he's going to continue and go to all the shows. And so far, he's done well. So I'm glad that he's going to show up.
I never knew who he was until last year at Weedsport. I saw him pull in for that 358 race at the end of the year. I don't even know if they raced, but they had the truck and trailer there. They were working on the cars. And I was like, 747. It's a different number.
Right.
And then, start following a little bit, and the kid's just dominating this year. So the ROC Tour seems like it's got a pretty stacked field.
Yeah.
I got an interesting question.
Go ahead.
If I may. You're the race promoter, correct?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So does that mean the ban on Steve Payne is lifted for one night?
That is a good question.
Come on.
Well, let's put it this way. We have no issue with Steve, and he's welcome in my book, but ultimately I don't own this facility, and I could tell Steve he can come race, but But if Dean Hogue doesn't want him to be there, then he has the ultimate say because it's his, as the landowner. So that's really all I'll say about that.
We need a return of the hurricane to Black Rock.
It's a question. Who even knows? I mean, it's been a couple years, so who knows? That ban might not even.
It's been quite a while.
If
now.
the ban even was actually true, I mean, that all could have been hearsay as well. So you're right; it is a little bit of pot stirring, but it made for good conversation. I know Dan's got other stuff he wants to talk about besides who is and isn't coming anyway.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of. Well, I was going to say about Ryan Godown. A lot of people don't know who he is, or just this year have really learned who he is. I can remember years ago at 5 Mile back in. I'm going to say 98 or 99, he came up and ran Sportsman, and Jim Cron was the top dog at that time at 5 Mile. And he came into 5 Mile, Ryan Godown had never been there before, and put on a show. And he and Cron battled right to the end, and Cron won the feature. But he ran that track as high as anybody's ever run it, right on the edge. And he caught my attention way back then. And as it turns out, his uncle is Stan Plosky. And I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Familiar with Dan Plosky, but one of the legends in racing. And back in the 70s, he had left the New Jersey region to come up to 5 Mile Point and run the season and dominated. And back in the Paul DC 707 car, and he actually is one of the 50 greatest drivers based on that fact that how he came into 5 Mile and just cleaned house whenever he came. So so I would imagine that his uncle. Gave him some setup tips because when he came in, like I say, this has been a good, probably 12, 13, 14 years ago, came into that Sportsman and just turned everybody's head. So he's been on my radar ever since, and then this year, he's just been phenomenal in these on the ROC series. I mean, the Penn Can, he actually had a bad draw, and the track wasn't conducive to passing in the heats, and he didn't quite make it, just missed out on qualifying in the feature and got a provisional as a buy-in and started last. And 5 more laps, he'd have given Danny everything he could have handled for the finish. Cause he got all the way up to second and just put on a show. And then at I-88 last week, same thing, never been there before. And he charged through the pack and was up to third behind Mike Mahaney and Billy Decker. And Billy had run out of fuel, and Ryan Godown checked up and in the process flattened the tire and late in the race, or he'd have probably been. It was starting to look a lot like Penn Can, where he might have had something for both of them at the end. So
yeah, the clash at the Can, he was coming like a freight train.
Oh yeah, I mean it just amazing. He was the show that night.
He was.
So
that's what I told everybody too.
Based on his limited experience at Penn Can, how well he did, how when he came to 5 Mile the first time, how he just set everybody on their ear, and then going to I-88 for the first time to go right to the front. I think he'll be somebody to keep an eye on at Black Rock next week because I think he'll be there to put on a show. That's for sure.
I think a lot of people tend to forget that he won this when he was still running Sportsman. You mentioned him running Sportsman, that he won Super Dirt Week Sportsman portion a few years back. People forget that.
Yeah, he's a talented driver. There's no question. He's I've seen him win at Selinsgrove, and he won it. Now I don't remember now if he won at Bridgeport. Yeah, he won at Bridgeport for the ROC race back in March, where he just came through the field, changed the tire with like 12 laps to go or something, and just annihilated the field over those last 12 laps. So he's definitely on the rise. He's going to be an exciting guy to watch that night for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
that's one of the nice things about this race at Black Rock. It's going to be an equalizer. The track will be an equalizer because the guys have been around for a long time, Alan and Danny, and those guys are quite familiar with it. But a lot of these guys will either be coming here for the first time or for the first time in 12 or 15 years. So it'll be really kind of an equal playing ground for the most part.
Yeah, it's almost similar to like what Lincoln was last year. It's a neutral ground, like Selinsgrove was a few years ago when you guys went there for the first time. It's a neutral ground.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. Obviously, one thing that I've learned is that it doesn't take guys long to figure places out, and that's what makes it kind of neat. So And like you said, we're real excited to see Jimmy Horton following the whole series, and he's kind of having a resurgence. I was reading Ariotto today, and Lenny Sammons and Brett Dale had both mentioned kind of having a resurgent year for Jimmy Horton, and he's enjoying getting out and doing a lot more racing and a lot more, coming up to New York to race, which he hasn't done a whole lot in recent years.
Right.
So it'll be a nice mix. We'll have guys like those two. We'll have, the guys that have been following the series. You'll have somebody like Billy Van Pelt, who is going to come in there and could quite easily take you right to the front. He would certainly have some kind of home track advantage if there was one.
Yep.
So we're in. Jerry Higbee told me he was coming. He's top shoe down at Orange County Fair Speedway and at Accord, and he's planning on following the entire North and South Series the rest of the season, and so he's planning on coming. So it's going to be really neat that the fans are going to get to see some guys that they don't ever get to see race. If they stay close to home.
Well, I know everybody up this way is really looking forward to it. There's been a lot of chatter about this event, and once again, it's going to be the Race of Champions Dirt Modified Tour coming up on July the 11th at Black Rock Speedway. What else do we need to know?
What time does the race start?
Well, race starts at 7 o'clock. It says 6:45 on the Black Rock website, but it's a 7 o'clock start time. And it's we're not allowing sail panels for this race. That was the question. And actually, that's something I debated right down to the wire myself, and opted to go without the sail panels. But one of the things that I did want to talk about too is the virtual ride-along program that we're doing. I don't know if you saw the press release I put out on that, but it's kind of an interesting contest that we're doing for the fans, to get the fans involved. And basically what it is when you come in the track, as anybody that shows up that night to buy a ticket, they'll get a handed entry form and fill out an entry form. When the drivers come up to do the draw, the driver will draw a spectator's name, and that's that spectator's driver for the night. So if their driver goes on and wins the feature, that fan's going to get a $250 shot in the pocket, and get to go down to victory lane, get presented the money by the driver, and get a picture taken with the winning driver in victory lane. So every driver in the field will have a fan assigned to them, and should be a pretty neat thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a great idea. I like that.
I'm picking Billy Van Pelt.
Yeah, I think I want Billy Van Pelt.
It's hard to bet against him.
The tracks in this area, yeah. Black Rock and Woodhull, you don't want to bet against them.
Yep.
It's it's something fan friendly, and we're also going to acknowledge Dutch Hogue on that night, and certainly everybody knows the name. Maybe some of the younger fans aren't familiar with what he has done in his career, but he is the only driver to win the actual Race of Champions on both and asphalt, and he's a 5-time winner of the race, and all 5 of his wins coming at Langhorne. The original Race of Champions was at Langhorne on the dirt surface, and then they paved Langhorne, and he won it on the pavement there as well. And then the Race of Champions went on to Trenton and Pocono and Farmington before my brother and Alex Friesen bought it and bought the rights to it and moved it to Oswego. And so Dutch Hogue is the only driver that's ever won that race on dirt and asphalt. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it is very sweet.
Yeah,
it's a legend. There's no question.
Yep.
Well, we sure do look forward to it. We're glad that you could find time in the schedule to stop by, and we really look forward to it. We also got somebody that's weighing in that says that your junior starter buddy is going to be there from down there at the Grove. So look for your junior starter buddy.
My junior starter buddy
from the Grove.
Okay. I'll have to think about that.
Give you something to think about tonight, because I'm sure you haven't got anything else on your mind.
Right. Yeah, sure. And one other thing, or 2 other quick things. Obviously, in addition to the modifieds, we're also running a Race of Champions Street Stock Series event. That'll be 25 laps,
Great
500
racing.
to win, 60 to take the green. And we're also running the front-wheel drive 4-cylinder event. The 4 cylinders, the winner of the race will be guaranteed a top 10 starting spot in the 10,000 to win big one that they have at Black Rock in November. And that will be heats. They will run heats in a and a feature. There was some question as it said they had listed enduro on their schedule on the website, but it's an actual, heats and a feature for them. And the street stock winner will get a guaranteed spot in the Empire 100, which pays $2,000 to win at Black Rock later this year. The modified winner gets a guaranteed starting spot in the Outlaw 200, and also Dean Cole at Utica Rome has posted a $500 bonus to the highest finishing Utica Rome regular, and if he should win, he's going to make it $1,000. So
Yep.
if the Utica Rome guy wins, it's a $6,000 payday for 60 laps. Not too shabby.
That's
No,
not
that's
bad
good.
at all. Not bad at all. Well, we sure wish you the best of luck. Hopefully the weather holds off for you and nothing changes and it stays hot, stays fast, and you guys have a great turnout.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. I appreciate it and giving me the time, and I hope to see everybody out there next Wednesday. I know I'm getting real excited. I was there Friday night. It's the first time I've been to Black Rock to a race in several years, and I was getting so anxious. I wish that was race night. 'Cause it's here, and it's time to make it happen.
Well, welcome back.
Okay. Thanks very much, guys. I appreciate it, and hope to see you next Wednesday.
Thanks,
See you
Dan.
soon.
Have a good one.
Wednesday.
And there goes Dan Harpell promoting the July 11th Race of Champions Modified Tour. They got all sorts of stuff going on over there at Black Rock Speedway. We don't have Vic, right?
No.
Vic, we didn't hear back from Vic.
No.
That's a bummer. We were hoping to get him.
And we will. He did it. He did say he wants to do it. He just is trying to fit it in his schedule somewhere. Being on the road. And
box off a Thursday. Hopefully it'll work out.
We're going to try to lock him in again for sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, we got to make sure we get him on there and we'll catch up with him. It actually worked out okay because we did fall a little bit behind as the course of the night went. We got Cody Bleau coming on, Sportsman racer from over at the Fonda Speedway. Just want to make a quick reminder. Again, this is the 31st lap. We go live to tape every Thursday night. There is an empty chair for everybody. We'll go ahead and put it on our designated driver of the week, Justin Henderson. After winning the heat and the Sportsman feature over at Canandaigua Motorsports Park, there's no guesswork. He co-hosted, he won. What are you going to do? Driver of the week, automatic. Earned co-host rights again, John, if you can believe it. Over there giving me a smug look. You're going to have to deal with it. He's already here.
I'm waiting for you to stop because I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
I have a person that texted me and they want to call in. I need to let them know when to call in. 'Cause I told them after we're done with the interview.
let's
so
get
you
through
give
everybody.
me give me a signal and then I'm going to text him.
That all depends
Because
who
he'll
it
be
is.
calling your phone.
That all depends
Who
who it
is
is.
it?
I don't think you know him.
Oh, okay. All right. I will keep an eye out.
Because you don't ever visit
I
Dirt
did
Track
that.
Digest.
I
You?
did that once.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody
You know
called in.
DanDan?
I did that one time. Somebody called in, and I just blew
Tell
it off.
him
I
he-
thought it was somebody from down south, and I hung up.
Tell him he has to use his own first name and last name now because that's the new policy.
Well, if he doesn't, I could always tell you what it is. Because now I know it. I learned it the other night at Rolling Wheels. I told him I wouldn't put it on Dirt Track Digest, but I didn't say I wouldn't put it on. Say it here.
That's a debate for the forum, and I am done with that. I lurk now. I
changed mine today. Well, I didn't change my username, but I put my name on the bottom of my signature.
Same,
I did that
that's
today.
where mine is, but you know what? It's just being the internet. It can be interpreted wrong when you're not saying something that's
Right.
wrong. So I've
Now
just learned
Who
to
are
keep my
you
mouth
on there?
shut.
What's your username?
HR321.
Okay, all right. I know that.
I'm
is
that
now.
loudmouth guy that everybody doesn't like.
I don't know about that. There's a few people that get singled out. You're not one of them.
No, our friend from I think it's Fonda Mod Fan.
Yeah.
Poor
Yeah,
kid
he got
takes
the
more
boot.
heat.
He got the boot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got the boot.
Aw.
Like last week.
So did Chromehorn.
Yes.
We talking internet.
We
Garbage.
are.
Yeah,
It's whole,
internet.
well, it's racing at least this
That's right.
time.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get somebody to weigh in a little bit later on. We're gonna be here till 11 o'clock. Rest assured. Just wanted to get. We do have to get our plug in here. Didn't even get a chance to get through that.
Good thing
before
I
we
took
got
tomorrow
sidetracked.
off.
This is the 31st lap. We go live to tape every Thursday night, and the show's up almost immediately after. So be sure to check us out. If you don't keep the late hours, be sure to visit fingerlakes1.com on Friday or visit podcast.fingerlakes1.com. There's a host of podcasts available, including The Sauce, starring Tony Sometimes, the Finger Lakes Great Pod, looking at local wineries, Weber on Sports, Tech Talk Live, Tiffany Collinsworth's Finger Lakes Look Ahead, and the Sports Talk, Jocks, Dog, and Paulie, which goes up every Wednesday. If you want to see it as it happens, visit fingerlakes1.tv and look up the 31st lap. If any of our listeners want to call in, like DanDan, be sure to ring us at 315-729-3999. And now joining us on the phone, I think he got the win 2 weeks ago over at the Fonda Speedway. Cody Bleau. Blew. I did that twice now. Cody Bleau, welcome to the show.
For having me.
Not a problem. I mean, we've been talking a little bit about trying to find time to get you on here. We're glad we finally put it together. We are a little bit late. The Milkman, as I've been told, is your nickname. Tell us before we get into anything, how did you get a nickname like the Milkman?
Well, it's sort of a statement at the same time. It was pretty much to show how young I was when I started racing the big cars. Races, everybody at the Winter Circle Bar up the road, and none of the drivers could buy me beer at the time, so they'd buy me milk.
That's not quite the same meaning behind Kevin Will's big.
No,
so
it's definitely not the same meaning.
That's great.
Are you old enough for a beer now?
Yep.
Coming from the Coors Light sponsor.
I recommend Coors Light.
Well, first of all, congratulations. I mean, that's got to be one of the crowning achievements of your young racing career so far, picking up that win over there at the Fonda Speedway.
Oh, thank you. Just a lot of hard work, especially with the team I'm with now, Jeff Rockefeller Racing. Also goes out to him and his father, Dave Rockefeller. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be racing this year.
Tell us a little bit more about, what it takes to keep that car on the track. We always get the different stories from the different Sportsman teams, and you mentioned a couple of those names. What's it take to keep that car going on a weekly basis?
Oh, it takes a lot of hard work, from the team, and it's every single night pretty much in the race car shop, making sure everything's right, and just you have the schedule during the weekend for, the race night and what to do, but throughout the week, Monday or Tuesday, you have a set time for certain things to get done on the car or even on the race car trailer. So a lot of hard work with the team.
You've got the one car that's put together, JSR Racing number 816R that you mentioned. And then you've got the family-owned number 73 that you're running, just hit and miss through the course of the year. How involved are you on keeping up on the cars, and how difficult is it when you plan on taking both cars out on the same weekend and getting both of them race ready?
Now the 73 is in another garage right now, and it's not together. I need a little bit more funding with that car to get it going. But I do have some planned events for the end of the year with that car. But the 816R that I drive for Rockefellers, we're mainly concentrating on Fonda and going for the points championship there. So a lot of our concentration is pretty much on that car right now.
Well, you're not doing too bad over there in the points. I mean, right now you're second, I believe, behind Mark Mortensen, and that's only 8 points, so that's not too big of a swing. And you're not afraid to be a risk taker to get the win. You're not out there points racing by any means when you had that three-wide move to end up getting that first win since, September 2010, I think it was. It was McDonald's weekend, and I think you were, you finally broke through for that victory there a couple weeks ago. Tell us a little bit about what it takes to win a championship at a competitive track like Fonda Speedway, and then, of course, talk about, the difference between racing for points and racing for wins.
Oh, well, every driver should be able to go out, to the track every weekend and not be racing, a certain driver for points or anything like that. They should be able to go out there and just concentrate on their car, keeping it up to date and trying to go out there and try and win the race or finish, as far to the front as they can.
You guys got some good competition down there. You run against one of my friends, Johnny Scarborough. I work down south with him.
Oh, he's everybody's friend.
Oh, but you got to give it to Johnny. I believe he was last year's points champion, What's the competition level like down there? What are you guys focusing on to help accelerate your program past these guys?
Just like I said before, a lot of hard work. You try and figure out, what to do weekly with the car and just trying to advance, your program as much as you can. Because at the same time, because the division we run in is pretty much a beginner division, everybody's improving week after week, every single driver. So, to be up in the front takes a lot of hard work during the week, but also it's about staying, safe on the track and keeping clean and racing people clean and just trying to get to the front as soon as you can.
Getting to the front. I mean, what were you thinking when you pulled that 3-wide move and ended up ultimately taking the checkers?
Oh, well, it was on a restart off of the backstretch, and at first I was thinking of going to the high side because that was the only spot where I could keep up with the two guys up in front. And when both of them slid up the track, I didn't really think that much. I just dove to the bottom of the track, and luckily the car just stuck there on the bottom because there wasn't that much bite on the track that night. But I was able to make the move underneath them and was able to keep the car out in front of them. Thank God.
What are you planning on for the rest of the year? I mean, you've got the Capital District. You're obviously going to focus on Fonda and what's going on over there at the Fonda Speedway. You planning on, if I understand correctly, you're planning on trying to get over to Brewerton Speedway on the 18th, and then we're looking at Utica Rome later on. And how about Syracuse? We're going to see you at Syracuse this year as well?
There's a couple of plans we're trying to make for Syracuse. Right now, nothing's definite right now. We are trying to get my 73 ready for Brewerton and the Utica race. We'll see how that goes, but we're also going to plan on some events like at Lebanon Valley, and once Fonda shuts down for the fair, I think we're going to try and take the 816R to some other tracks, maybe Albany, Saratoga.
Getting off to some of these tracks like this, I mean, you're 21 years old, so you're still a fairly young guy. A lot of the guys that you probably grew up watching are still out there in competition. What's it like to be able to pick up a victory at a track like Fonda and now be able to go and compete at tracks like some of these other venues that you're looking at, like Utica Rome, Syracuse, Brewerton Speedway?
It was a dream of mine to win at Fonda Speedway, and to do that was it's an amazing feeling. And like you said, now to try different tracks and just gain as much seat time as you can, or gain as much exposure as you want. It's a feeling that it's just a great feeling, and I'd like to get out to some more tracks if we can at the end of the year. And I also like the traveling part with racing as well.
You have any plans of moving up to the modifieds?
Not as of now. If we find enough sponsors to where we're able to do so, or somebody lets me use a car for a night, that's probably what's gonna end up happening. But as of right now, the way it's looking, we're gonna try and stay in the Sportsman until an opportunity is brought upon us.
I got a question.
Go for it.
Your number of the Rockefeller car, 816R, is a bit unusual. Is there a significance behind it? Where'd the number come from?
That was the date my car owner's wife, Dave Rockefeller's wife, passed away. So it's a very dear number to their heart, and
right.
They asked me if they wanted to change it, but I told them it's because it means a lot to them.
Sure.
And because it's their car, I had no problem running the number at all.
That's probably the right answer.
Yeah. That was a smart answer.
Yeah. I figured it was an unusual number. I figured there had to be a meaning there somewhere.
What about the 73?
73 is based off of my hero, Jimmy Davis.
Somebody mentioned that on the live chat. They said the best number in racing, 73. They mentioned Cody's name and then Jimmy Davis.
Nice.
Yeah. Jimmy's always been my hero. He's the one I grew up watching at all the local tracks, especially Albany, Saratoga, and Fonda. And I always wanted to race his number, and I knew him ever since I was 3. And he's also kind of like a second father to me as well. And he's taught me everything there is.
Now you came from running Fonda, moving into the Sportsman currently. You came from running street stocks, if I'm not mistaken. Did you run anything prior to street stocks, or had you raced anything before that?
I raced go-karts for 3 years. 3 years before the street stocks. I ran I think like BMX for maybe a year, if that counts. But
that's racing.
Yeah. But the go-karts we did for 3 years, I was pretty good at the go-karts, but we were always I always looked at it as a step. I didn't want to stay in them, and
Right.
my dad bought me my first race car, which was a street stock that was run at Fonda. Bought that and did very well.
Now, the go-karts, did you race Dodge City? Where'd you race?
We raced around the Capital District, mostly Crow Creek Raceway.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with that. It's not far from my hometown.
It's a couple miles up the road from Fonda.
Yep.
Then we did Dodge City as well, out in Cobleskill, and ran a track up in Argyle, New York called Turkey Trot.
Yep. Sweet.
Look at you, knowing all those tracks.
Hey, Kroger Creek is in Ephrata, and that's like 10 minutes from Fort Plain. That's where I grew up, so.
Fort Plain. I think in the tags now, on every episode of this that we post, I need to make sure that I put Fort Plain as one of the tags, because it seems to get mentioned every week.
Hey, it's a popular town.
Yep. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. Well, who helps keep that car going on the track week in and week out? You got any sponsors that you want to recognize?
Again, my car owners, Jeff and Dave Rockefeller. They're the heart and soul behind this whole team. Their whole crew, Mike Seaburn, Josh Seaburn, Mark McIntosh, Kyle Corbett. My sponsors, DR and Son Lawn Care and Snow Plowing, Schenectady Auto Service, Stevens General Contracting, Right Way Driving Center, Stephen R. Jones CPA, Allura Solar, Island Miss Tanning, the Champion Family, Eric Ronsko, Doug Zupan, who helps me out a lot, and my father.
We mentioned Kyle Corbett. Make sure you keep him in line.
We were actually just talking about you guys before the interview, so I'll have to tell him that.
Wait. Back that up. What were you talking about?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, what was that all about? We should be talking about you. You can't be talking about us.
Unless it's good.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
I guess he knows a bunch of you guys from all the local racetracks.
Yeah, Kyle knows me.
From Fort Plain?
Him and his woman. His woman's from Canandaigua.
Well, we sure appreciate you making time to come on. I know we've been chasing around trying to get you some space here on the 31st lap for the last couple of weeks, so I'm glad it finally worked out. It was good chatting with you, and we look forward to catching up with you. And you got to make sure you continue the tradition. Usually, Sportsman drivers around here, they end up in Victory Lane.
All right, thank you guys for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Hey, if you want to co-host, they might let you come on down.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to come down anytime you want if you want to sit in.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Nice
Cody.
job, man. Thanks for being on.
There goes Cody Bleau. Got it right that time. Got him on finally. Yeah.
2 out of 3 wrong. You got it right.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're done.
Hey, that's
2 out of 3.
That's a
bad.
Hall of Fame. That's a Hall of Fame baseball career right there.
Yeah, buddy. That's a weatherman's dream.
Unfortunately, you were batting the 33% for good.
Would you like a?
It's okay. That's $1 million contract.
Would you like a racing update?
Yeah, let's have a racing.
What kind of
update.
racing is
What do we got?
Well, you guys know that Mallet is not here. He is at Shangri-La 2 for the Extreme Must See Racing Series, the series that's going to be at Oswego on Saturday that you talked about earlier. They're at Shangri-La 2 tonight, and Heat 1. I guess they got 14 cars was the last count he gave me. Heat 1 was Brian Olson. Heat 2 was Jason Cox. And Heat 3 was Hank Lauer. They won the heats.
Well done. I'm glad he's out there.
14 cars is a bit of a disappointment, but everybody was kind of wondering how many cars would show up because they have quite a few cars where they normally run out in the Midwest. This is their first foray coming east like this, so everybody was a little curious to see what kind of field they would get. Wing 410s on pavement is unusual.
That's awesome.
It's
wicked fast.
Yeah, they're crazy fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if you watch. I usually watch them because they're on TV every
Time
couple
Warner,
weeks.
TWCS. Yeah, I've watched them quite a
As a
few
matter
times.
of fact, I watched the last broadcast just today. I had it DVR'd and I watched it this afternoon.
Well, we're going to try and get Cory Reed on the phone now. The sprint through the guests continues. We got some folks that are weighing in here. They're talking all about different things. Some of them we can't actually mention on the air, even if this is not traditional radio. Yeah, it's that good. You wish you had this computer.
Kyle's girlfriend just texted me. She is listening. Hello, Janie.
Janie, yep. She says, I believe that's Snyder 49. Really enjoying the show, guys. Think I might just need to listen to this every week now.
Hey, thanks for listening.
That's cool, right?
Absolutely.
I hope nothing bad's going on about me out there. And if not, it is now.
Well, yeah. Now that you just mentioned it, it sure is.
Oh, damn.
There's a couple people that were worried if you were going to come to the live show next week, if you were going to come in like a cocky rock star. And I told them that, no, you've never been a cocky rock star here other than when you show up.
Well,
and
this
go
is
home.
only appearance number 2, so you never know.
Yeah.
You know what fame and fortune will
I'm
do.
gonna go get DW's chrome suit so everybody can see me.
Fame and fortune, it changes people.
A lot of people have that perception of me, and unfortunately, I'm sorry if that's what you think, but you got to get to know me. I just like to have fun.
You just got to learn to accept that he's better than you, and it's fine.
Oh, come on, seriously. I may be better than Chris Marquardt, but that's a stretch.
That's not hard.
What about Rich?
It's Posty. Everybody loves Posty. He's a big teddy bear.
Yeah, but are you better than him, or you got to be, right?
Posty's not just a teddy bear; he's a big teddy bear because he's got the big seat.
Why are we having conversation about me while I'm?
Because we can.
Pull the microphone up to your mouth before you jabberjaw over there.
It doesn't matter. You're going to talk about me when I'm not here anyway.
We were just saying how cuddly of a teddy bear you are.
Real cuddly.
By the way, I went and watched your movie Ted. Yesterday. It was hilarious.
I had friends that saw it yesterday too.
Unless you want to be
funny.
Justin the Cupcake Henderson, I'd be real careful.
If anybody hasn't seen that movie, go see it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what my friend said yesterday. They saw it yesterday afternoon, and they said it was hysterical.
Nonsense.
I know, we're getting into movie reviews.
Sorry.
Cory Reed.
Hey, it's a teddy bear that's a pervert.
Must be Bombas.
Yep.
Actually, I think I brought that one up, so sorry about bringing the IQ down on the show.
So you got Cory?
We got Cory.
I apologize, Cory. I appreciate you coming on. And I know
the reviews on the teddy bear movie, so I just figured I'd just listen to hear how good or bad it was before I went.
Hi, Cory. It's Justin.
Hey, Justin, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. Hey, everything's sounding great up at Brewerton this year. You guys sound like you're having a good year.
Yeah, well, I'm pumped. I think we've been cranking right along. I don't think there's anything that stands out as being super exceptional, except maybe our big block field every week. But nothing bad either. I mean, we've just been steady. We've run I think in 9 races. We have 9 different modified winners, and things are going real well for us.
Hey, when you can have 9 different big block shows with the caliber of drivers that are out there nowadays and not anybody's repeated, there's a good racing going on.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think Pat Ward said it at Fulton a few weeks ago when he won, and said, all these young guys you can't just work them and get around them like you used to. These guys are really tough, and everybody stepped up their program equipment wise. And they're racing at Brewerton to get better and to be the best, and that's always been known to be the case at Brewerton. You went there to get better, and if you want to race with the guys that are best in the business, that's where you do it. So it's and it seems to be holding true this year. You look at some of the guys that have really stepped up. Bellinger's, he's there with us every week, just like you have him there at Canandaigua, and he's really stepping it up. Matt Fink has really been impressive to me all year, hanging right in there, top 5 car a lot of nights. So it's and then that's a lengthy list that just
Mike.
I'm going to leave a bunch of guys out, Mike Mahaney, whatever. But there's a lot of great guys, and it's really great to see them all develop.
You've seen Chris Heil's been having a pretty good year running up there.
Yep.
Yeah, he started strong. He's been struggling a little bit lately, but hopefully he'll get back going again. They got good equipment too. I mean, they work real hard at their program. So, that's been a real encouraging thing. Is a lot of times you look at a field and you say, "Oh, this guy's going to run away with us," or "That guy's going to run away with us." And at Brewerton, you can never say that, and that's pretty neat from a fan's perspective, but also for me as a marketing and manager kind of guy. So that helps me be able to sell it.
Well, you're selling something pretty big here coming up later this month.
Yeah, we just announced a deal with Tony Stewart for our Ford Test Sprint show. He reached out to us and then said
said he had interest in coming to the show, and we said sure. And luckily, Tracy Road Equipment, the folks from there, stepped up with us and helped bring him in and allow us to use his name and whatnot to help us really promote this thing. And it was going to be our first 410 Sprint show at the track, first one we ever had at Brewerton. We've had the Outlaws at Fulton on numerous occasions, but nothing ever at Brewerton. It's just never qualified or never been involved in any sort of those non-modified big specials, except the late models a couple times. But able to bring in the All-Star deal was good, and then to add Tony to it, it just makes it gigantic. It's going to be a real big show, and then we had the Sportsman program that we put together to go along with it. It's just been, we're getting calls from everywhere for that show. I think we're going to have a lot of race cars, and should be one great night on July 18th.
What goes into getting somebody like Tony Stewart at the track? Does he call you, and then you have to basically set a certain parameter or anything like that, or what's it take to make him comfortable?
Of course, it's a dollar figure, and he's looking forward to be able to use his name. You don't have to. I mean, obviously, he went to Canada. He's been around. I mean, obviously,
right.
if you're a race fan, you've had your chance to see Tony race his sprint car at a lot of places in New York State in the last 2 years, really. He's been pretty active in this area. The difference is, and the reason we did it wasn't for the race fan necessarily. It's for all those casual fans or non-fans that are out there in the Syracuse area, Watertown, whatever. That, for instance, the lady that I'm working with to put a TV ad program together is a huge Tony Stewart fan. She found out the day after he was at Utica Rome. She just, you don't hear those things,
right?
Unless you can use his name. You're not going to know he was there till it was too late. So it's a gamble to some degree. You hope that his name is worth what you think it is to be able to use it and really promote the show with it. And I think it will be, though. The calls I've gotten just in 2 days. I mean, we just announced it 2 days ago, and people are calling for pre-sale tickets. And tomorrow we go on sale for pre-sale tickets. So. Which is quite simply nothing more than being able to have a ticket in your hand, so you don't have to, you're not going to not get a ticket. So it's there's no reserve seats or anything for it. So to have that kind of response already, we're pretty excited about it.
Now, is he going to be running the Glenn Steyer's car, or is he going to be bringing his own equipment up?
I'm pretty sure it's the 14, his own stuff.
Yeah, I would think so.
At least that's what they're telling us in the contract and everything else. So, and Jimmy, in fact, I know for a fact that Jimmy Carr, who's his crew chief, and I've communicated. So Jimmy's to bring the car up. So it'll be the 14, the Office Depot car.
Well, whichever car it is, they're both stout pieces, and he's definitely good in either one of them.
Yep.
Nah, it's good. That's the whole thing. We're looking for that new breed of fan. That's the biggest thing we're always saying. We're having trouble generating new race fans, and if you got a sponsor like Tracy Road Equipment to be able to step up and help you do it, you might as well take advantage of the offer that Tony made to come out and help you. So, let's make it as big as we can make it, and bring in all kinds of new people, and hope they get hooked, hope they love it, and maybe they'll be back. And that's really what this whole thing's all about.
It's a great venue for the Sportsman division too. To be racing on that as the accompanying attraction. Exposure for that division is great. How as racy as Brewerton's been over there, what kind of challenges is that track going to pose to those guys that have never seen the track before?
Well, we've had 2 different tracks this year, as you probably know. It's kind of funny. We knew at the end of last year we probably should have put clay on the track. Needed clay, didn't have a lot to work with. So the first half of this year was pretty slow track, pretty slippery. Guys were complaining they couldn't get a hold of anything. So we added clay a few weeks ago, and as I'm sure you heard, the first week or two hasn't been the world's best, but with all this dry weather we've had this week, we think this coming Friday, tomorrow night, should be great. We think we've got it pounded in and pounded down and beat down to be where it should be a great racing surface. So, we got this week and next to get it perfect for July 18th. And for the Sportsman guys, a lot of them did run last year. We ran a handful of Sportsman shows. So some folks have had experience on the track. There was a Sportsman dirt tour show there years ago, so a lot of those same guys have been on there then. And there's others it's totally new for them. So we'll see. We'll see what it brings. Hopefully they're able to put on as good a show as I expect them to.
Definitely, hats off to you guys. You needed to put Clay down. It's a tough thing to put Clay down in the middle of a season.
Yeah.
In an unenviable position, but from the sounds of it, you guys did the right thing, and in the long run, it's going to benefit you guys very well.
Yeah, I don't doubt that your staff, Cory, you guys got a good staff there, that you'll get it right.
Yeah, that's what a little bit of frustration that I've had with certain select racers is, they're the same ones complaining that they can't get a hold of anything. So we put Clay down to try to make it better for them, and then they won't give us the week or two it takes to get it perfect.
Right.
And that's the frustrating part of this business. And I'm not, no particular names, but it's just, it's like nothing ever makes some of those guys happy.
No.
And that's why we just want to. Our guys have worked really hard. They don't care. Their goal is to get it to be the best it can be. I mean, Harvey thinks out there every day. Eric thinks out there every day at Brewerton, the two of them, beating on the track and working it. And then up at Fulton, Jamie Kellogg's there full time, working hard, just working the track. We have all the right equipment we're using, and so it'll be good. It's just with everything, it just takes a little bit of time, and we do thank that the racers for their patience with us. And they know we're going to get it right. Deep down, they know it. It's just, and I respect their frustrations too. When they get there, they work all week on their race cars, and then, it's a little rough. I expect that. That they're going to be frustrated. It's just, give us a chance, guys. That's all, and we're going to have it.
Yeah. Not only did you guys do one track, you guys decided to do both. Hopefully towards the end of this year, we'd like to make a trip up to Fulton, Cory, like we do at the end of every year. So hopefully we'll see you up there.
Yeah, I hope so. I know late July there we have a show, and hopefully you'll be, if you're not on vacation, we're still running. I think you guys are out for the fair. So.
Yeah, I'm getting married on that Friday, so I don't think I'll be in attendance.
He's being marched
well,
to
there's
the
a perfect
gallows.
place for the honeymoon, Fulton, New York.
Exactly.
I will personally give you my soon-to-be wife's number, and you can go ahead and run that one by her.
There's a river going by there. We can dock a boat there, send you on a little mini cruise up the river to Oswego, and then back, and you'll be all set.
Dude, as a racer, you do not get married during the racing season. What are you
Only
doing?
week off we had the year, so that she wanted a summer wedding.
There's never a week off.
I know.
Listen, if Justin won't bring his car up there and take the free vacation, I sure will.
Maybe we'll try and convince my dad to bring the Jenny Light car up and make a night up at Fulton for you guys.
Yeah, I hope so. That's been a good deal too for us up there. The Sportsman at our track has been dynamite. We're getting about 40 entries total between the novice and the regular Sportsman cars, and so it's been real strong. We haven't really gotten super aggressive yet with the tech that really made us popular last year. We haven't really had that opportunity or that one driver that really seems to stand out as needing to get looked at a little closer. Although we've done basic tech, but I would think pretty soon we'll probably go back to kind of what got us going there last year.
There's always going to be
getting a little more serious about it.
There's always going to be somebody out there that's going to complain about it, but hey, from somebody who runs that class, the more tech, the better. Congrats on having to be those people.
It's what's got the class back. We faded bad the first half of last year. The first month or two, we dropped 10 entries a week. And the minute we started doing what we were supposed to do, it went the total opposite. We all of a sudden we had 25, 26 entries every week. So it's just trying to create peace of mind for everybody. That's what the whole goal is.
Good for you guys.
So we've talked a little bit about this, and now we've got Cory on the phone, so I guess we can lob this his way. We were talking about taking the show on the road and maybe being part of that Outlaw 200 weekend if you guys were willing to have us out.
Be very interested in that, absolutely.
Well, I guess that pretty much cleared that up.
Yeah, I think that's a two-way street.
Yeah, that was easy.
That is definitely one of the crown jewel races that stand every single year.
I like the sound of that.
To come out and do that, to do our show, what we love to do at that race, that would be phenomenal.
Yes, it would.
I think I'll be available.
That'd be great for us. It'd be a good partnership.
Well, let's mark that down. We'll plan on that. And if that falls on a Saturday, so if we go up early enough, Justin can do his Oswego Speedway Super Modified ride along.
There we go. I like it.
Now we're linking them together.
I like that idea. I think we should do that.
Well,
we need to all sit down and talk.
Yeah, we'll have to figure something out. Just to come back to Brewerton real quick, how great was it to see Dan Vaughter get that win over there?
Oh, he's such a good guy. I mean, he's been there for so long, beating himself, and mechanical failures. If anything could go wrong, it could happen to him. He just never seemed to get a break. Even when I remember earlier this year, even he was top 3, leading, then maybe faded to 3rd, but was on his way to a 2nd or 3rd place finish at worst. All of a sudden starts smoking and something goes, and he just always snake bit, and the guy just kept coming back, and it's been that way for quite a while. I mean, years. I think he said he started coming up here in 06. So quite a few years he's been doing it, and not able to secure that win, and they're good people. Him and his father come up most of the time, just the two of them, and just good folks, real nice people, and couldn't happen to two better guys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anybody that you want to recognize that keeps the lights on over there at Fulton and Brewerton Speedway?
Well, of course, John and Laura White. People, they're in it for the right reasons, which makes my life easier. It's a luxury to have owners that love the sport to the point of, if I said it back when I went to work for them, and on a lot of interviews, that if you talk about there isn't a night, if there's a race somewhere, they're going to be there on any night of the week, and that's pretty impressive to see, and to have owners like that are so into it and want to make their tracks as good as the ones they go to, and so that makes it great. You look at the dollars he sunk into Brewerton. Not just the clay, but we put the new suites up this year, and those are all sold out. It's six of them. 6 new ones we built, and all sold out on a waiting list for next year. Nice. New scales. We put up these new scales that are like $13,000 a set. We did a set at each track. That all you have to do is just drive on, drive off. Top-notch stuff. Then with huge displays, each display costs 4 digits. They were so everybody can see what the guy's weight is. And then the other thing, Brewerton, a lot of people forget he put concrete in the pits. That was all free. Nobody had to pay to have a parking spot on concrete. But he did it down the whole length of that front row for the modified teams, because that's what he likes to do. That's what he wants for his teams, and thinks the rest of the team should have it too. So there's a lot of good there in John and Laura, which makes it easy for me to work there, and makes me really enjoy my job. And Harvey, of course, busts his hump, and Eric, and everybody there at the operation. We're just trying to make things better, and trying to one of the good things is when we see Fulton, like last week, we had just an absolutely great crowd, and it's encouraging when you see that, and when people come to you and say, "Boy, it's so much better than it was 2 years ago," and that means you're on the right track, and that's an encouraging thing to hear.
That's pretty awesome. I got one last question for Cory. The most important question, Cory. Did you got my email the other day about sending out the monthly June month winners for the Fantasy League? Did you send them out?
We will.
Did you send out the tickets?
We will.
We will.
Just checking. Make sure you send them out.
Yeah, we're gonna just the girl who does the tickets had to leave from the office, and one thing led to another, and then the fourth. So, and we've been kind of a little preoccupied with this getting this Tony thing done. Now I'm kind of caught up with that. So we'll get the paperwork done, John, and get them out. It's
all good. I'm just breaking your balls. In all seriousness, I want to thank you, man. You've been awesome with the Fantasy League this year, doing the ticket winners to each speedway for each month, and then the ticket winners for later in the year for the Hurricane 100. It's pretty awesome what you guys are doing there, and I want to thank you for that.
Well, it's good because, like, for instance, the one winner was from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
They're going to make a trip to come up to use those tickets.
Yep.
They're probably not going to come up if they don't have those tickets. So,
right.
for me, it's eyeballs, and it's good. It's a good thing.
And
anytime we can do that, make things benefit for people supporting the sport like yourself, and get eyeballs at our facility and butts in the seats,
Yeah, and odds are, the person that won those pair of tickets in Pennsylvania, chances are they bring more than 2 people.
Well, you hope.
And you're getting the asses in the seats, and that's what you want.
Or they at least come back more often after they come. So, it works out for us. It's a good deal.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks.
Well, Cory, we sure wish you the best of luck. I hope everything comes together for that race on the 18th and everything goes off without a hitch. And we sure look forward to catching up with you here before too long. And as always, it was great to catch up with you and appreciate the time that you took to come on the 31st lap.
No problem, guys, and great job with the show. It's been really catching on. Excellent deal.
Thanks, man. We really appreciate that. That means a lot.
All right. Take care, guys.
See you, man. Thanks.
Thanks, Cory.
There goes Cory Reed. So it sounds like we got some traveling to do.
It doesn't break my heart.
Dude, I would love to see that work out. That would be freaking awesome.
More importantly, it's nice to hear Cory sound comfortable.
Yeah.
Sound relaxed.
He's not the guy that
he
was
doesn't
back
have,
in dirt.
And that's what I'm saying. You can hear the difference in his voice, and you can almost hear his passion for the sport resurface.
Yeah.
And a guy like Cory who's been around and has the knowledge of racing from the inside that he has, to hear him kind of come back and be a little, and it's not that he was negative or down at any point while he was with Dirt Car, but I can hear the difference in his voice. You can hear the weight kind of lifted from his shoulders being with John and Laura White.
I think he's enjoying it more because I'm not saying there isn't any pressure because there's always pressure, but I think there's a lot less pressure on his shoulders right now.
Sure.
It's nice to hear him come back to.
He's getting back to racing's fun.
Right. Yeah. Racing is fun for him.
He's in the same place
again.
all the time. You got just the 2 tracks. He's not running all over the Northeast and God's creation and.
When he was on the tour,
yeah.
He's not everybody's favorite person.
And that, I think that's the position he was in,
and that's all it was. It had nothing to do with Cory Reed. It
right.
was the guy that had to be that guy.
It's just the body in that position,
and
right.
It doesn't matter who.
Yeah, it could have been any one of 4 of us.
Suitcase was kind of in the same spot.
Yeah,
exactly.
And anybody that's been put in that spot is always the punching bag for somebody at some point throughout every event that's you got 29 happy guys and the 30th guy is so ticked off. He's just,
or you got one happy guy in 29.
Right. Yeah. It goes either way.
At the end of 30 laps, there's one happy guy.
Exactly. And he's down in victory lane while you're getting your butt chewed in the pits. So, to hear Cory come back and be so relaxed sounding, it's nice. And
I saw him up at the Gator show this year, and he was just bouncing around in the booths, just, hey, how you doing? I know this is different than I've ever seen you before. I'm like, Cory, you're happy. He goes, yeah, I know. I don't think you've ever seen me like this.
It is nice. And, of course, Brewerton and Fulton, they do a real good job with their race programs. And
John doesn't, spare a penny. They do it right, which is, I've had the opportunity to run at Fulton a couple times over all the years, and it's always been a fun track. But ever since John took it over, he just, he's trying to make it like home. I mean, to him, it's a family thing. He's got his son racing. He's got his wife there. He's got his family aspect, and that's what he wants to instill. He wants families in the crowd, wants families on the track.
And he was the first track owner promoter to really go to that 18 and under, 16 and under crowd free of charge.
He wants the next generation involved in the sport.
He's trying to build another generation that's lacking in most regions of the country at this point.
Once he did that, look at all the other tracks following suit. Canandaigua was doing the same thing. They're getting that younger generation to get them back into racing. It's a good thing.
It's nice to see that there's actually still leaders in this sport that are doing it for the right reasons and not trying to flip a coin on the deal.
Exactly.
And just line their pocket. And for all the abuse that John White takes, from various places, and he gets tons of credit from various other places, but the bottom line is his heart's always in the right spot, and he's doing what he believes is correct for racing. be it at his track or someplace else. He's always there to chip in.
It's not a money-making scheme. They're not doing it for the dollar.
I can promise you they're not making millions off of owning a racetrack.
I'd be willing to bet any of the new recent promoters that have taken over any tracks are not, doing
very few are making money.
And I think
they're the ones that sell and get out.
Well, and I think I think that game is break even.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work, but
pretty much.
But if you break even, you're in good shape.
Today, right now, you are satisfied if you break even because of the state of things.
And then something coming along with the Tony Stewart deal. It may make you a couple dollars and actually help the track,
right.
But I guarantee that they're going to put all that right back into the track.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
because that's how you're going to get people back. If you keep taking and taking and taking from the track, you're never going to see a return of the people because they're just going to think you're out for the dollar.
And
we got our caller that we were told was calling in.
We got a live call in.
You got a live call in. You got on the 31st lap.
This would be DanDan.
The one and only DanDan from the forums of Dirt Track Digest. Welcome to the show.
That's not. Where's Mr. John?
DanDan, do you want to tell the viewers or the listeners and viewers your real name?
No.
Why not?
They don't need to know it.
Oh.
Okay, well, there you go. Quite simply.
Simply put, no.
Dan,
I just got a couple questions for John.
Shoot.
Go ahead.
Did you see my golf cart?
Have I seen it?
Did you see it?
When you had it at Rolling Wheels, I saw it, yes. Last I saw it, it wasn't running.
I can't hear you.
Well, I'm trying to help you out as best I can. That's one of the challenges with a cell phone. Hang on 1 second here. I gotta blow my own eardrum out here, and I'll try and get it so you can hear. He's saying last time he saw it, it wasn't running.
I just want to know if he's seen it.
Well, yeah, he's seen it. It just wasn't running.
Yeah, I saw it at Rolling Wheels.
It did for most of the time. I had a loose wire.
Had a loose wire?
Yeah, and I kept asking him if it was the golf cart he was talking about.
Loose wire, loose wire in the golf cart, loosen up behind the wheel.
So Dan,
what did he think of the sunrise?
What did you think?
Right before he went to sleep.
What did you
that was only for 5 minutes. It was a nap.
John takes a 5-minute cat nap, taking tickets at the gate. Great.
No, that was at like 6 o'clock Wednesday morning. We never went to bed. A whole group of us never went to bed.
It's the next 6 o'clock that's coming around.
Yeah. They run 2 a day in Rolling Wheels.
We stayed up all night. Me and DanDan and Sonny / Kimmy from Dirt Track Digest, Mallet, Mike Colitz, Boris.
So what you're saying is there was a bit of a party.
Oh yeah, Bob Miller was there. We all
let me guess. Did they drink Coors Light?
Sat up around the bonfire and we drank. Actually, we drank PBRs in honor of Tommy because Tommy would drink that cheap crap. So we had like 90 PBRs at Rolling Wheels, and
so what did
there
everybody
were
else
not
drink?
many left. No. There were not many left.
No,
at
supposed
9
to be
a.m.
responsible.
Yeah. 21 means 21.
What's that, Dan?
We drank a lot of them.
Yes, we did. There weren't many left when we got out of there at 9 and 9:30 in the morning, was there?
No, there was not very many at all.
So when did you hit the bed?
When did I hit what?
The bed when you got home?
When did you get to bed?
11 o'clock that night.
Jesus. You didn't go to bed when you got home?
That's like the Energizer Bunny keeps going and going.
I got home was like 9:30, and I went right straight to bed and slept all afternoon.
Since you guys were there, what was the highest bid on any of the panels?
You know, I asked Mallet. It was one of the body panels, the Danny body panels. And I don't remember what he said. It was a couple $100, I think.
That's good. That was all put back, I believe, into the street stock.
Working the gate, I didn't get to see the auction, so I asked him later that night, and I forget what he said. Dan might be able to tell you.
Yeah, what the panels go for?
What panels?
The Danny Johnson panels at the auction.
To be honest with you, I can't remember. I bid on one, and I thought it was $60, but I think they was up to $160 by then.
Yeah, we had somebody weigh in online. It was about $200 for the door panel.
Yeah.
One of them went for like $210 or something
good.
like that.
Yeah, I thought it was a couple $100.
Yeah, there's a lot.
They good money.
You just got a text.
DanDan got a friend of his donated a racing roof off an IMCA car, and DanDan bid on it.
Sonny, calm down. I just said it was $200 a panel. Give me a hand here. I got every hand that I've got full.
DanDan bid on the panel that he donated and gave it back to the owner of the roof.
That was very nice.
Yeah. Didn't you?
Yes, I did. I brought it and I bought it.
Yep.
and then took it back to its home.
He was going to call him next week. He was happy as anything to see that come back today.
Well, that's good.
So everybody can see how busy, Chris actually is. If you hit at 31st Lap Podcast right now, I'm going to throw a picture up of him trying to
Thank you.
triple do something.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Jim's going to have to hire you an assistant over there.
I'm getting yelled at on the live chat because I'm wrong, and I'm getting text messages from people that are reminding me that I'm wrong. I'm trying to tell you that I'm wrong.
Hey,
but
Chris.
I'm simply out of hands.
Toe called. He said you suck.
Yeah. Token.
Toe called.
Token. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I can't. Oh my god! I
That's funny.
have this headset up so loud it's blowing my eyeballs out. And I still don't think that DanDan can hear us.
No, I don't think so either.
Are you still with us, DanDan?
He's
Are
got.
you there?
DanDan said he could hear me. The rest of you, I don't think he's even listening to.
No, I don't think he cares.
I don't think anybody listens.
There was
anyhow.
a couple too many PBRs between then and now.
Well, I got to turn this down. I can't handle that. That's out of control. Oy. DanDan, did we lose you? Or?
No, I'm still here.
Oh well.
What's up?
Tell
I
us.
can hear you, but not the rest of them.
Yeah, I know that because
probably-
I don't have enough hands to make that happen.
Yeah, it's probably good
him,
for you anyway.
Ask him if he has anything else.
What else you got for us? You took the time to call in. I want to give you your due minutes here.
You got to ask Mr. John about that.
About what?
About that tent.
About the tent. Where was the tent?
Ask him if it means the pup tent.
Let me throw something out there right now. If this has anything to do with the tent that resulted in Sonny getting sunburned, it's probably not a topic you want to get into because we don't do that. It was a good show. We don't want to
Ask him if
upset.
he means the pup tent.
The pup tent? Is that what you're talking about? Is the pup tent?
I guess if you would call it that.
If you would call it that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even call it a tent. As I stated on Dirt Track Digest this afternoon, that was more like a tablecloth with
We
sticks.
wasn't allowed to go take a picture of it.
You weren't allowed to.
You weren't a Boy Scout, were you?
That was not. That was not a tent. There were. He brings this up. The people that weren't there. There was this little tiny tent. It's like the world's smallest tent. I swear to God, I don't know how a human being fits in it. An adult. There were two adults in it, and the one dude. It was a couple, and the dude was like over 6 foot tall, and this tent literally did not stand as high as this camera. Right?
Yeah,
really?
You got to stack them.
People's legs and head out the other side.
Still today, Dan says they dug a hole in the ground, and that's how he got in there.
Listen, after 90 PBRs, what do you need a tent for?
Well, they went to bed early. It was Tommy's sister and her significant other, and they went to bed fairly early. But a lot of Tommy's family was there all night long, and a couple of them stayed up with us all night. We never went to bed.
Glad there was a good time.
We had a blast. It was a great time.
The highlight of my night was not after my 20-minute nap, having waking up to John head stuck in my tent. Hey, you gonna get up?
He did. He decided he was going to go to bed at the wee hours of the morning. Well, me and another friend that was there went over and decided to get his ass out of the tent.
Tread carefully where this conversation's going.
So she unzipped the tent and was, Dan, do you want me to crawl in there with you? He got up.
Oh, Lord.
Dan,
we had a blast though.
Dan, I'm sympathetic to your cause. I feel bad for you.
If he's talking about the great thing, I tried and I failed.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Next.
We got about 2 minutes left of this thing. Dan, we sure appreciate you calling in. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
I will call again.
All right, what I'll do is in between, we'll give you a better line to call in on so it's a little bit easier for us to take the call because calling the cell phone isn't always the best. We can either have you call. We've got a landline that's going to work a little bit better so you can hear us a little better.
Okay.
All right, we'll get in touch with you.
Yeah, we'll get you hooked up.
All righty.
See you, man.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
Yep. Bye.
There goes,
I'm gonna forbid.
So you know Dan, right?
I don't know who he is, but I've talked to him many times on the forum.
So you've never seen him?
Just so everybody
no.
knows, that was Dan
he's a
from Dirt
funny
Track
dude.
Digest
He's real-
calling in on behalf of John Bomas. John, you're not welcome next week at the live show.
He's a funny dude. Man.
He was a riot.
Yeah, I do not.
Funny.
And do not bring your tent next week.
Yeah, I do not want to hear about the tent incident any further.
That was
I heard something
Because
about
if I
a
had to
grape.
wake up and look at that face,
got
Oy.
it. Got about a minute to go. We
I
got
wasn't
plugs
in
quick
intent, somebody else was.
around the horn. Any plugs?
Thank you to all my sponsors, Coors Light, Molson Canadian, Twisted Tea, Benedict Performance Center, Bicknell, everybody that's a part of our deal. Thank you guys for having me on.
don't forget Jenny Light for your old man.
Jenny Light, North American Beverages for the AT&H at Todd Henderson.
That's right.
You know, good local company. Make sure you guys drink local, drink responsible.
Take
There you
that,
go.
take that hit for that team.
How about this? You're up.
I'm, you know, my wife texted me and she was watching the show with my daughter, and when my daughter realized that we had Justin Henderson on, it was like the end of the world and Daddy didn't exist, and she proclaimed that you are her driver. So apparently, my 5-year-old owns you. Welcome
your
to
daughter is an absolute sweetheart.
Welcome to married life, because you're going to get used to being owned here shortly.
Loser.
Thank you.
But of course, my daughter was never so happy. Justin won last Saturday, and my daughter made her way down into victory lane,
And we made sure to give her the checkered
yeah,
flag.
She snuck over, got handed the checkered flag, and you'd have thought it was $1 million bundle.
You got to bring that next week.
I actually got a picture of it.
That's
so
good, 'cause
we'll get it over to you. Ed
nobody
Black,
else
a
did.
Canandaigua
Yeah.
photographer, takes great pictures.
Yep, there's one actually hanging in your hauler.
Oh, I got the one of you next to my car. I was going to bring it.
Ah, boy, I'm glad you forget. Thomas, what do you got? You got Dick
You
Dragon?
want a fantasy league?
Yeah, I want to know where
Update?
you,
DickDragonMotorsports.com.
Yeah,
Dirt
move through it. We're
Fantasy
over
League.
2 hours now. It's going to be a little bit tough to load this thing.
Dude, pay no attention.
Come on, spit it out.
I finally got the points updated, but the website still is not updated because I still do not have the proper program to update the website.
And magically, he's winning.
But I have the league standings updated. I sent everybody an email the other day, so I'm assuming you guys got it.
Yep.
Team Dick Dragon 2, that's my team, is leading.
Rigged.
Magically.
Rigged.
It's
Rigged.
rigged.
Cheaters.
How can you
Rigged.
rig it? You pick your team before the season starts.
Tear 'em down.
You can't rig it.
That's
right.
a cheater crate.
Tear him down.
Mud Buses, that is Dusty Heastand. He is now second.
Him and his mud buses.
Dusty is the one that won the tickets that from
no
Pennsylvania
kidding.
that Cory was
Awesome.
talking
How
about.
cool
Yeah.
is that?
Tell him to mail them to me,
So
because he'll be
Dusty,
racing.
you better plan on using them freaking tickets, man. Sandman is third. Twin 20s, that's John Tiff. He's fourth. And then 18, Rowdy 51 is fifth in points right now.
All right, where are
You
we?
guys. Let's see. Hammer Time, that's Mike. He is 12th. My other team is 13th.
Stacking the deck.
Cheater.
31st lap.
Oof.
The show
Second
team,
page.
27th.
That's not bad.
There's
27's a
there's
good number.
There's 110 teams. So
Who's in
that's good.
31st? What's the team? Bob's Big Boys?
31st is Big Bob's Boys.
Yeah.
That's a tongue twister. Smashed Empire Films, Chris, 34th.
Holy crap.
Outside Groove Racing is Rich. You are 35th. You guys are like neck and neck, 18 points apart.
Is that the team that started missing the first 5 races?
No, I think that's Imperial Death March.
That's Imperial.
Oh, okay.
Or is it? No.
I don't think it is.
No,
I think Smashed Empire Films was a
Smashed
late
Empire
one.
It
Films
is.
is a late
How many
entry.
teams did you
It
guys
is
get
the
this
late
year?
entry. Your other one,
Imperial
Chris, your
Death March
original
not doing
one,
the best.
Imperial
Multiple
Death March
pages.
is 77th.
Yeah, but you're not
Dino's
last.
Lucas Oil ESS team is 50th. The celebrity driver, I got 4 celebrity drivers: Bobby Varen, Deanie Varen, Jeremiah Shingledecker, and Brian the Dream Weaver. The Dream Weaver is the leading celebrity driver. His team, Dreams team, is 39th.
I gotta say, I think that right there is probably one of the coolest nicknames.
The Dream?
No, not just the Dream, just the fact that Dreamweaver it meets up. That's cool.
Yeah.
We can start calling you the Dreamweaver
No.
if you want. But.
Nope, he's cupcake now.
And I'll
No,
give
not
a
really.
It's
shout
all right
out-
there, Teddy Bear.
I'll give a shout out to Zupin because I know he helped you getting some stats about Cody Bleau. Zupin's team, Big Orange 61, is 9th.
Look at that.
He's actually tied with my mom and dad.
So your mom and dad are smarter than me, too. But I'm going to have a big week with BlackRock. I got Billy Van Pelt.
Yeah, you're not
see,
bad.
you got
that's
that
the
one.
thing,
We're going to pay off here.
These points change so much. I mean, it's already changed now because we've had some races this week that I haven't even updated yet. This was through June 30th.
Chris, what do you got?
The end of June.
Well, we got Smashed Empire Films, of course. Big season starting to wind up here. July 10th, we're at Yates County. July 14th, Yates County. July 17th, we're at Waterloo. July 21st, at Waterloo.
I might have to get over to those.
July, I think it was last week of July. It's a Monday and a Sunday. We're in Dunkirk, Chautauqua County, and Friday the 27th, we're in Harrington, Delaware. So it's going to be a busy month. We're looking for some help. If anybody wants to go film on the 21st, I need some help getting the cameras down to Brookville, Pennsylvania. Get a hold of me through private message. It is a paying gig. I'll help you get down there and stuff like that. But I'm in a little bit of a spot. The guy that was going to go down that's been telling me for the last 3 months that he's going to go texted me, no less. Not impressed, texted me and said, I'm not going to be able to go with a frowny face. And he never freaking apologized and didn't have the balls to call me in person, which I was not impressed with.
Listen,
But
neither did Michael Waltrip when he canned David Ruderman, so don't feel too bad.
Yeah, and you know what? Right now I'm putting him right up there with him.
So right, they're right next
he
to
at
each
least
other.
sent a frowny face.
Yeah, at least he sent a frowny face. And I made sure when I did get a hold of him face to face, we discussed the validity of that frowny face. And I started throwing some numbers at him about what sponsorship deals and stuff came together and how big the check was we're going to have to write if this thing didn't come together. And all of a sudden his face turned white.
Would that be a frowny face with a tear?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
that would have been a frowny face that had a stick of dynamite in its mouth.
If you just leave an address on the desk, Chris, I'll take care of everything.
All right,
for you.
I'll see what we can do. Smashed Empire Films, and then of course, how can you forget next Thursday the live show?
Yeah,
I can't
absolutely.
wait. We've got the live show coming up. Bobby Allison's going to be on the phone. Mike McLaughlin, Buzzy Ruderman, John McCardle, John Podolak. All these great drivers from modern day and from the past and everything all coming together in one place live. Amy's Checkered Flag. The show is going to start at 7:15. We've got a green light to go as long as we need to make sure that we get everybody in. I can't wait. It's going to be a ball. If you can't get there in person, be sure to tune in. Of course, the Dirt Motorsports Hall of Fame is going to be involved with it. They're bringing a car down. There's so much good stuff going on with this.
So yeah,
you gotta come.
if you're local or you're not and you feel like driving out to Waterloo on the 12th, bring your car. It's like a mid-season mall show.
There's a couple people that we have not been able to get a hold of yet that we want to. Nate Peckham's one of them. We want to get a hold of him. He's right here in Seneca Falls, and Jim LaRock is another one right here in Seneca Falls. So if anybody has means to get a hold of those guys, let them know.
He parks right next to us at the racetrack.
Perfect. Both
Posty and I will talk to him on Saturday.
Make sure-
Well, you will because I'm not going.
Yeah, because
Okay, then I'll mention it to Nate and see what he has to say.
Yep. Well, we sure appreciate that
I've
help.
got a couple of quick things if you got
Okay.
10 seconds here.
Go for it.
I
We're already
wanna
over
thank-
by a ton.
I want
Who
to
cares?
thank Tana Robinson from Ransomville Speedway because for the Fantasy League, she donated a family pass. It's 2 adults, 2 students are allowed in. That's going to go to the team that scores the most points in this week's races from July 1st through July 7th. All the races on the Fantasy League schedule. The team that scores the most points will win that family pass. So thanks to Ransomville and Tana Robinson. And also Scott Fryers texted me and asked me to mention the Hondo Classic is this weekend.
Oh,
at
right.
Fonda Speedway.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that earlier. Yep,
Yes.
the Hondo Classic is,
Yes.
is this weekend.
Hondo
Yep.
Carpenter, who passed away a few years back, who was a weekly pro stock competitor at Fonda Speedway. They've had a memorial race, the Hondo Classic, the last few years in his honor. That race is this Saturday, so check it out, guys.
That's the Zip
There
It
you
music.
go. Here it is. That'll do it for this edition of the 31st Lap. It's always great having everybody along. From Mike Mallett, John Baum, Rich Post, Dean Reynolds, Justin Barger, Cody Reed, Justin Henderson. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you right back here next week on the 31st.
www.fingerlakeswine.com. Come on and join the fun. Log on to Finger Lakes Wine. www.fingerlakes1.com.